episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our Supreme and Master Speakers Omeji Cat Comet, Arisu Yamakawa, Circa Barrakiel, Remy Asalia, Arcadia Lunashine, Alex Franco AV, Winebow Brood, Psyche, Asuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Nat Clay, Lily Black, Bob CC, Mikta Rabentau, Sapa Chakwatol, Edwin, Umbral Wind, Quicklevin, Pamela Isley, Camille Grino, Elenriel Maximus, Codrith Novelist, Mira Miri, Babe Arbale, Suno Chicano, Celestau Noitrell, Lazy Boy, A Bag of Dragonite, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Stormarrow, Tex, Yowie Wowie, Kai Lin, AJ Brainswordson, Anethus Moonscar, Arthur Law, Biridan Derard, Cypup, Spencer Christmas, and Noy Fafnir. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Eorzeans. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 291. I'm Lakil Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Mail of Anadar, and Rollo Des.
Hello.
Hello. This is episode, like I said, 291. It's March 19th, 2022, and our main topic today, a massive Famitsu interview with Naoki Yoshida, Banri Oda, and Ishikawa. We're also going through a survey which was included in this massive interview. I say massive. Every time we have like a Famitsu interview, it's always like massive. But that's kind of how they roll. They're kind of like big. They make a big deal out of their interviews. So we're doing one today. And we'll also be reviewing Little Ladies Day, which is now upon us. Started on Tuesday. Yeah, that's that. I'll also be reading MogMail. Remember to send us MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Stay tuned for the post-show. If you're watching live, we'll be answering questions from the Syndicate. With that said, let's jump into recent events. Right. In recent events, we have our first... We have the time for the live letter 60. 70. Which will be on April 1st.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Maybe it's all just a joke. Yeah, so that's going to cover the second part of the patch 6.1 preview. I'm expecting the trailer. What else do we expect from this live letter other than the trailer? Like, what do we usually get?
Information on everything. They didn't give us anything last time.
That's right. So everything they teased in part 1 is going to be shown.
Information.
They're gonna show off the world visit or world data center travel.
Stop it.
They're also gonna go in depth into the companion stuff or whatever it's called, the trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, they might go into the new Realm Reborn, like whatever they would call it in the end.
Yeah.
I think they'll probably show up for Totten too, just for fun.
Possibly, yeah. They might show off some of the MSQ changes.
I'm kind of hoping they show off more like the new dungeon and raid and all the new stuff.
No,
I think they don't want to show us the dungeon. I think they think it's spoilery.
Yeah.
They don't want to show us anything though. So what's this one going to be about? The last one was weak enough.
They can show us gameplay of the new PvP mode.
Yeah.
Yes, that'll be something. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
It's gonna be beefy. It starts on at 11 a.m. GMT. That's when this airs, we will be in BST for the most part. So 12 BST. That is 1 Central European Standard Time, and then 10 Australian Daylight Time. What is D?
10 p.m.
What is AEDT? What the
Australian
fuck?
Eastern Daylight Time.
Oh, Daylight. Eastern Daylight Time. That must be what it is.
AEDT, because I feel like
AEDT.
most people call it Australian Eastern Standard Time. We don't call it AEDT. Maybe that's
Well,
just
it's
what they...
DT when you've gone to daylight savings, and then it's standard.
I guess so.
Because we go from CET to CEST when we switch to standard time. We don't put a D in though. We just go, there's CET.
I feel as if I've never noticed that before.
So it should be CEDT.
Yeah, it is Australian Eastern Daylight Time.
Weird.
Funny name.
We
I
need.
think it's like 4 a.m. for America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
All
it's
of it.
it's something. I'm not gonna be there. You guys do that.
1 p.m. Central European time is 7 a.m.
7
Which
a.m.
side of the
Eastern.
country?
Eastern.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
all the way to PT.
Yeah. Wait, is it? I
Which
don't know.
is 4 a.m.
Every time
Like,
we talk
it's-
about time, we fuck something up.
It's-
So let's not. Let's not.
Oh, we should talk about the fact that time is a little bit confusing as well because of the fact that, like, for Americans, the show started an hour later than normal.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, if you're yeah, that's true. We started an hour later for Americans, but that's because we follow Central European time. I don't know if we've put the S in yet, but yeah, we will do that until the last Sunday of March, which is the 27th. That's when we switch over. Okay, yeah. So patch 6.1.
So only one more week of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that goes for all streams, by the way. So keep that in mind. If you're watching live, there is a schedule thing in below, and it will show the actual time for you. I think also the built-in Twitch schedule thing adjusts to your time zone as well. So if you are confused, just check that. All right, that is the live letter. Next, that somehow the text didn't go away when I did that. Ignore that it says that we have the time. I don't know why that's there. Graha Tia, CGI art. Yeah?
I hope that stays there for every slide.
I'm tempted to check,
like
but
the
let's
looking
let's leave that exciting. Let it be exciting when we switch. CG artwork of Graha Tia has been released.
He's not creepy looking. He looks good.
All right. Yeah.
He doesn't look. He doesn't look off.
No.
I said this when it was first revealed. He looks very chuny.
He is.
Yeah.
He's posing in front of the Aetheryte in public, man.
I know, in a very public location.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like cosplayers posing in front of fountains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That's. I mean, there's not much to say about it. It's just.
No, that's fine.
Another one of the CG renders of characters.
They've only
from the
missed
game.
on Viera, so...
Yeah, Vanessa's the only one that looks
spoiler-
really weird.
The spoilers on Graha are over. We are just posting artwork of Graha on the Twitter account and
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't
But they
know
don't say
about
his
this,
name.
too bad.
They
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 did.
didn't say.
They
They
did.
did.
By
They
name,
said,
yeah.
they just
Yes,
said
it says
Oh.
it's in
It's-
Graha Tia, surrounded by 2 gemstones. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Well.
Yep. Spoiler embargo is over on the 14 Twitter. Moving on. Oh, thank God.
you-
Yes. Sorry. Okay. Do you have anything
Quickly,
else to
though,
add to this?
Do you think we'll get any more CG artwork?
Who's
Or
left?
is Graha the last one?
Who's left?
I've not really
Ta-
kept track of who is and hasn't. been
Tataru and
named.
Cryo.
Nah. Maybe together they can do like a dual Lalafell one.
It'd be weird if we didn't get a Tataru one,
Mm.
wouldn't it? I feel like she was very important.
Get a fan.
They're the only.
Or a Fandaniel one.
Mm,
Yeah. That would be
And
interesting.
Daniel and
It's time.
Xenos.
Xenos already has one.
Yeah, but get him a second one because he's so cool.
Yeah.
Tatara and Kryle, only because the Famitsu article featured artwork of those two separately as well.
Yeah. Which we will
I mean,
see.
I won't mind it. I would like to see Krylin, in CG getting more attention
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
because she was bullied a lot this expansion
Mm-hmm.
in terms of the promotional material.
Yep.
Chad is mentioning Emmett Selk and Hythlodaeus. I suspect
That's a little bit
Sorry.
much.
the way you keep trying to move on to the next slide.
Yeah.
I suspect they are definitely considered too spoilery to get artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Little Ladies Day 2022 is here. It's another seasonal event.
Darling, did
So-
you like it?
I liked how she spoke.
Yeah, darling. Well, also, let's spoilers for this event, I guess. So I don't have
If
the
you've
alert
not,
loaded up, but
if you've not managed to commit the 10 minutes required yet,
this is literally a 10-minute quest. So
This
if you haven't done
one-
that yet, I'm sorry, you might have to plug your ears. I'll do this when we're done.
rubbish.
It was rubbish, I agree. But I will say, its
Yeah.
greatest strength is the fact that it was shorter than the last one.
That's
True,
true.
Yeah, so let's just unwrap the story. It's this what is her name? I've already forgotten her name, so that's a good sign.
Oh.
Something Mirabelle? Something like that.
Maribel. Something like that, yeah, sure.
Yeah. She's this designer
She's doing like an internship at that clothing shop near the Weavers Guild.
Yeah. She keeps saying darling, which is very odd. But that's her thing. I
It
guess.
is odd to
To, like,
spell it like that because it's already pronounced darling.
But I guess it's because it's not voiced.
Was it to try
so they
and
just
make it
wanted
a
her to
long
sound
A?
posh.
Yeah.
Darling.
Like
Yeah, I
darling.
think that's...
Yeah, just imagine how like Cruella de Vil would say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. She is setting up. There's a fashion show, kind of a competition actually with Redland Rose.
No,
Oh no.
with the masked Rose.
Sorry,
Nikhil, who
Masked
definitely
Rose.
isn't
I
Redland
apologize.
Rose. Yeah,
Masked
God,
Rose.
I don't know who he is.
Masked Rose, Serendipity,
And the Seneschal.
yeah. And she essentially just wants you to be.
She just wants to win.
Yeah, she wants to win, and she
Yeah.
wants
Yeah.
you to model her outfit.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Okay, so you do that, you win, you get the crown.
Whoa.
I mean, what else is there to say about the actual story for the first
fact
quest?
that it's a fashion catwalk show, and in the main quest of the event, we saw no other competition.
I know it
Yeah.
was, but that was what I was getting to. But we need to get the story out before we unpack all
And
the
the outfit
problems
it
with
picked
it.
for us was very
I know.
uninspired.
Well, but wasn't it funny when they
just
showed the
the high
grand
house
prize
bustle.
on the
Oh, yeah,
pedestal,
it was so
and it was
tiny.
so
I took a
tiny?
picture of
Yes.
it. I took a picture of it because
Because the crown is like so small and the pedestal is
little
like
pork
this
pie.
big. The problem is this would have been for the outfit we get is like nothing. It's like boring.
It's a high house bustle, or I guess whatever the male equivalent is.
It's literally the what is it called? The one
groom?
for not the groom, but it's like the
Best man.
Yeah, best man outfit essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
This
And
could
they were
What
like,
was the
wow,
woman's
amazing.
option?
It was the high house bustle, the big red dress
Mhm.
that
No.
everyone used to wear in Heavenswood.
Yeah. This would have been the one quest where a full outfit as a reward would have been perfect, because you'd be
Oh,
like coming
100%.
in with this outfit you've never seen before, and that's the reward item. Instead, you're wearing all this shit you've seen like a million times before, and you win a
I know.
tiny crown that you can't even dye.
Mm,
That's never shown
I-
again.
I agree with chat that it is cool that you can pick whichever outfit, either the traditionally male or traditionally female outfit, depending
That's
on the gender,
becomes so
regardless of
normal
the gender
now,
of your
but
character.
yeah, but I don't.
You
That
also
doesn't
only
wow
get
me as much anymore.
you only get one
but
option.
it's
You only
fine.
get one chance though.
Yeah, you
You
only
never get to see them both.
That's true.
No.
You can only pick one. Yeah, so after you've done that, you win, you get the crown, and then she's like, "Oh, darling,
I've won,
if you
darling."
want to come back, and if you have other models you want to like send my way,
yeah.
just do that."
How
Straight to the point on this one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Georgi.
how would you have felt if the outfits that you were given were Mog Station outfits?
At least showing that
would've
they put
been-
in some effort.
That would have been so funny. Like, oh, you come out in the Omega outfit.
Yeah, that would have been.
It would be insidious.
Look at this armor you could buy.
I'm sorry. This is the first time an event actually, because we threw a lot of shit at the previous event. That one was just bad because it was boring, but at least there was some work put into it. What was this? Like, this felt cheap.
Like, it's kind
Did
of
feel cheap.
worrying with how the quality's dropping recently.
Well,
I know
okay.
people are going to be like, at least they're giving you the event.
Well, okay, so
Love this game.
I'm gonna
it's
do
not.
give them one defense, and that's that they've had the break. They've had a break, and maybe it takes a while to get shit going again.
And-
Also, we said this before this event came out. Little Ladies Day is never great,
they're true.
except for a couple of times. I mean, specifically one where the storyline was like really fucking dark out of nowhere. But
Bring back the songbirds. That was a fun story.
I
Yeah.
thought it was fun while we had the songbirds.
They
Yeah.
mentioned
Yeah.
that someone was there for their yearly concert. They
yeah,
didn't show up.
where are they?
Hey,
Yeah.
no, they show up.
Well, they
show
do.
up.
They okay.
Yeah, they perform a concert.
Do they just
Oh,
appear
is it
on
just
the
like
stage?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's
Never
good.
mind. That's something, but not.
But it was really
amazing.
bizarre because I think the Songbird storyline was like the most because that was like a long arc that went over multiple Little Ladies days, and then they were like, no, this is going to end now. And that's when we got that weird like dark storyline, which we thought, I think we speculated that is this how this is going to be now? This is like the theme of Little Ladies Day. Nope. Next year, completely gone. No one talks about it. It's not a theme at all.
Yeah.
Weird.
I also want to defend against the idea that events are bad now. Only the last two have been bad. The three before that we all liked.
Yes.
Yeah.
And both of the
It's
ones
just a-
that we've done now have been made during like their like break, like when they've been winding
Yes.
down. So I'm gonna cut them some slack. And usually, Little Ladies Day, like I said, it's always been a little not great anyway. So yeah.
I don't
Halloween
think
one was
their-
great.
Their seasonal events are like one-day things, though. Then this game never has like.
I wish it wasn't.
You don't need to do it like all the holiday and like do dailies or whatever and get rewards.
You say that they're one-day things. Remember there was a time when they would have one part of the event and then you wouldn't be able to do the second half until like a week later?
Yeah.
That was
Made
arbitrary.
no
That was
sense.
that was like an arbitrary wall, which I also didn't like. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind having an event where like you could do a daily to get a token and collect some pets or something, as long as
Right.
you do.
Oh, I don't want a daily. I don't want a timed daily
No.
like that.
I don't
time-
need pressure to do events.
No,
Just make it good.
If it forced you to do it like every day for like 2 weeks
No,
to like
let's
get
say
all...
like half of the event and you get the number
I
one
like
pet or
it
something,
if-
whatever.
I wish it lasted longer somehow, but I don't know exactly how I would do it. But I don't know. It's whatever.
People
Also,
don't want to put in the effort.
also,
It's
yeah.
fine.
Remember the Little Ladies Day. Speaking of like it not being the greatest, this was what where you in 1.0 would get like a peach branch as a reward.
Mhm.
A peach
That's
branch.
true. I
So
suppose we should
Speaking
go
of
over the
pizzas,
side. Go on.
I like that the only two things that the vendor sells are peach confetti and cherry confetti.
that was another
Well, that's
thing.
true.
I
Well,
was
you get that as a reward for the side quest.
when I
anyway.
saw we can't forget the repeatable, but when I looked at the repeatable the first time, I'm like, okay, let's see if maybe there's something else. Nothing. There's peach confetti, and I'm like, okay, I'll go to the vendor. Peach confetti, peach and cherry confetti. What the fuck?
Why?
How is that all
Remember
we're
in the
getting?
old days where you could buy a tradable tree for hardly any gil and sell it for 40 million gil, like 3 years later, and you
thinking
can just
about-
do that forever?
Is that the Christmas trees?
No, the cherry blossom.
Oh, the cherry
Yeah.
blossom. Yes, because
If you were,
that
if
was
you were
so
smart
early. That was so early in A Realm Reborn.
and you
'cause
just bought like a
there was no
retainer
cash
full,
shop.
you'd
Yeah.
never.
but
So
no
there's
one
a repeatable quest,
Mm.
and you can pick from 5 character options, and you can have gladiator guild leader, mining guild leader,
Mhm.
Wedge, Godbert Mandeville, and the monk man, Holy Fist. What's he got? Hamon Holy Fist.
Yeah, Hamon. Yeah.
This
cool.
bit was the best part of the event for me.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
Like it was fun, like dressing them up, and they had a tiny bit of lore.
I
You
love
can
that.
make Godbert wear like something
Unrestricted
unrestricted
eroticism.
eroticism. Yeah,
Fantastic.
that's what I picked.
Yeah, same.
That's what I picked too.
Yeah, it's good, and you also get to see if you. I don't know. Did any of you pick the brown outfit for?
No, I wanted him in
Wedge?
show that face.
No.
Okay, because
Yeah,
I don't
I
know
wanna
what
show that
happens to
face
his
too.
face. So does he still wear the goggles in the brown outfit? Do we know, or is it
You have to go back and do it.
chat? Cafe did. Did he still wear the goggles in the brown outfit? That is my question to you, and we will wait for an answer. He
Well,
wears
we're
them,
waiting.
but they're clear.
Oh.
See, I wanted to show his face because I know he wants to impress Tataru, and I am 100% behind Wedge Tataru.
Yeah. Yeah.
Same.
Uh-huh. All right. So how do you feel about the reward?
I thought it was incredible.
I mean, it's a
Hope you're-
offset crown.
Yeah. Hope you're not bald, because that shit will be floating.
All right. Sorry to all the bald players, but I'm sorry, you're in the minority.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I mean, it's just one hairstyle compared to like 60 to 70 others.
Yeah.
Everyone should get to experience it to its full potential, Rollo. Don't be mean to the baldies.
Well, it's
It's a crown.
It's
though,
a crown.
Which is weird because we've not had a. Have we got any achievement crowns this time around for classes?
Don't think so. No,
I
we
don't
get
think we
the
We had the feather thing, which is
thing.
rubbish. So it's
Uh,
better than that at least.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can make some cute outfits with that crown.
I'm
but
sure.
It's
very
it
small.
sure was a reward.
Yeah.
It's fine, but it could have done with, if not an outfit, a pet or something. Or a picture for the wall of like the songbirds, or
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
I
don't have
don't
a
know.
painting of the songbirds, do we? That would have been a great idea.
something
Yeah.
extra, because that's only one item, and it's on some people it doesn't even work. If you have the big, like mafia, yakuza, like troubadour hair, whatever it is, that
Oh,
big
yeah.
massive quiff thing, it doesn't show through that.
Oh my god, that's true. Yeah.
The crown does work for Viera and Hrothgar. So
Yes.
don't worry
See,
about that.
this is what we've my theory is I hope it's not true, but I hope this might become a trend, because that's like a surefire way to make it fit on all races, like the hat. So we're just all gonna get like small hats that are like offset like this on our heads. That's gonna be
Old
the
You can
people
future.
only-
never.
You can have so many outfits like that, so I don't think it's going to be a thing.
No, hope not.
No,
They
there's
might just
something
not
like
have a hat.
Feathers.
Yeah, true. Okay, yes. What was last year's Little Ladies' Day? Do any of you remember?
Was that the
good
ghost
question.
one? Or was that the
No.
one before?
No, no,
It was
no.
longer ago than that.
It's been a long time.
It was some girl who was, I don't know.
Oh, was it
Was
the
it the one
sickly
where
girl?
the sickly girl who wanted to come out?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Okay,
I quite liked that one.
that at least had a story. I feel like this was more like, I need a model. You be my model. Okay, thank you for winning the competition for me with one entrant, even though they say
no,
that there were 8. Yes.
Last year was Valention's and Little Ladies' Day combined.
Oh shit, you're
Oh.
right.
Oh, was it?
That
There-
was last year's one.
Oh.
That's what it says on the Lowstone 2021 one.
So there wasn't like anything. Like what
There was
was it?
it was a lovely Moogle cap and a stuffed Kupka cap. It was Valention's.
It was just Valentine's and not. What was the Little Ladies' Day combo? What was that? Was it just
They
like
put the decorations up after Valention's had finished.
that was it? That's why we don't
there
remember.
might
That's
have
why
been a
the
little
memory's so
lady in
hazy,
the-
because it's actually 2 years ago. Wow. Okay. Well, so I would say compared to last year's, it's better because there wasn't any. Yeah, that's.
They've been events have been weird for a while then.
Yeah.
This year was the worst though, because they pushed one of them into the new Halloween into the new year or whatever. It's
Yeah.
been weird.
Yeah,
That was just so out of place and weird.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
felt so strange.
that was weird. Okay, well, that's Little Ladies' Day. Let's move on to... Let's make a quick sidetrack, because the Viera naming... male... Was it just for male? They've been added. Yeah, the male names.
We already had the
Yeah.
female Viera naming convention.
And they were just make it up.
Yeah.
Whatever you want.
So... The male
Deep lore.
names.
This is deep lore names.
Okay, I don't know.
Right now, if anyone plays a male Viera and you're not using these strict conventions, I will report you.
It's very comparable to Rogaden, like Seawolf names, because they're like there's a lot of consonants and not that many vowels. So the
What do you mean? You don't like the surname Jugnevwesv?
that we're getting to that, but we have the Rava, which is the least horrible ones. The Rava surnames, they have. So what is? So it's essentially a word, and then an element. That's essentially the name for the Rava. The first name that is listed here is Rev Nong, which means worldly ice.
Which translates as frost.
Yes. And then there's Jit Nong, which is DJT. So this is where you're starting to see the lack of vowels starting to like rear its ugly head. Meaning heavenly ice, which means moon.
So you can see Rev is worldly and Jit is heavenly.
Yeah.
Nong is ice.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's it. That's essentially it. They're all variations of Rev or Jit. Jit.
And then an element.
Yes.
Some of them make sense. Some of them don't.
Right. Nong is ice. Maruk is water. Bidit is wind. Dvr is lightning. Gilda is fire. And Setlas is earth. So I don't really mind this one. This I can sort of understand.
It's a convention to it. I mean,
there's a system I understand.
It's a little bit forced, but it's fine.
Yeah. But then we get to the Vina.
Much more.
Now.
Noble surnames there. The great houses.
You have Shadarwesfv, which means needle.
Of course it does.
Jugnevwesv, which means sheath. Mona Wesfv. See that one? If it hadn't been for the Wesfv, which is at the end of every fucking name, by the way.
It means guardian.
Yeah. So sorry, that was prism.
It means guardian, but it doesn't feature within their actual surnames. Or are we saying like Shadar is needle, and so your real name is Needle Guardian?
Wesev means guardian, so they're just not putting that in the translation because it's in every single name. So
Prism
Needle Guardian, Sheath Guardian, Prism Guardian, and for shield, Whirlwesfv, which means Shield Guardian, and the list goes on.
But that's okay, because it doesn't matter. Because these are all forest names.
Yes.
And they adopt city names when they go out of the forest. So it could literally... City names could be whatever you want.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
No.
Do male Viera leave?
Originally they didn't.
There are examples
but now
of male
they do.
Viera leaving.
That was very rare, but now we have to ignore that.
Yeah, with the laws
that
altered.
That is clearly
quickly.
been changed. It's the same as that. That's not even worth discussing because this is a discussion from A Realm Reborn when we had Melee and
True,
Kote.
yeah.
Plus, it's not that many in the story even, and you're not going to count other players as like NPCs that you're seeing in the world. You know it's another person.
Yeah. Okay.
Are you going to report Erenville, Mela?
I can't.
You gonna report?
They can't remove him from the game just because he doesn't follow conventions.
Oh, right.
It's
right.
only players I'll report.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyone that's not following the convention, I will interrogate as to
He
their
has-
city name and
He
where it
has a
comes from.
lore. He has a lore per name. That's a city name.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Aaron
he's got a
Pill's
city
cool.
name.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. Some 11 news, believe it or not.
Oh, we're doing this now. Okay.
Yeah, because it's interesting that 11 is bringing back its Final Fantasy XIV crossover, which is a Spriggan event. There are no characters from 14 as far as I know, but there are Spriggans in the game, which it's cool. You get the Spriggan outfit, which looks pretty cute.
That looks.
Yeah.
Look at those cactuses.
I was gonna say those
they look
cactuses
like
are
chips.
beautiful.
What a game!
Yeah, this is a game from 2002. I think it looks good for 2002. Anyways, March 22nd is when Final Fantasy XI's crossover begins. So make sure you catch that. I'm sure there's like a free login period coming up as well. They usually do that when these things happen.
Better make sure it's downloaded.
You're gonna do that, Luke Hill?
I might, yes.
See the old stomping ground. Go to Juno.
Juno. Yeah, that's where we probably logged out last. No,
Yeah.
was it?
And
You know that you're playing this game.
yeah.
No.
And that beach place with the ship. that
How
was
far?
fun.
Last time I played 11 was when I played it with you, like you and Georgi. So
You took me on the first time we played. It was just me.
we
took
went to
me
Juno
miles away
because you wanted
into
a chocobo.
like level 50 territory, and I can't kill anything. And then with Georgi, we went even further through these like plains with. I mean, it was cool.
Well,
it was
we
fun to
were
explore.
trying to go to Juno to with you
Yeah.
anyways to get a chocobo, but I don't know why we did that with Georgi. But that was just to show
Same
Juno.
reason, I
Juno is like an
guess.
iconic city. It's like the city everyone wants to get to in 11 because it connects. You know, it's a big deal. But yes. Anyways, I don't know how far we got. I guess we got to Juno when we played with Georgi as well, and that's probably where I logged out. Okay. So there you
I
go.
think you got on the ferry and just waved at us goodbye.
Oh yes, that's what
Probably.
happened. Yeah.
Abandoned us in this like endgame city.
Oh yeah, we were at like that sandy place, weren't we? The beach, which I never remember the
I've
name
been
of.
there before. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
Awful.
All right. So there you go. Final Fantasy 11, March 22nd, 14 crossover. We won again, lads.
Oh, we're just so good.
We won all 3 awards we were nominated for. Game of the Year, I mean the most prestigious one. Excellence in original score, and excellence in narrative in the South by Southwest awards. So congratulations.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, is this the first Game of the Year award we've won?
I want to
Maybe?
say
Did Shadowbringers
we've
win a
won
Game of the
so
Year?
many now. We've reported on so many. I don't know. Oh, maybe it
Because
is.
Game of the Year is very impressive for a
Yeah.
MMO.
Yeah. At least this is and this is South by Southwest, so this is a pretty big deal. Didn't we win
Mhm.
in No, that was maybe not Game of the Year. Maybe that was just
No,
best game.
we've won Game of the Year before.
Yeah.
2019 for PlayStation, Lifestyle. What else?
Oh, you're talking about all previous years. Oh yeah, we've definitely won
Yeah.
Game of the Year before. I remember.
Oh, I thought you were asking.
We're talking.
Okay.
No, I thought we were talking about this year because we've
that
won a
and
lot of
Warcraft.
awards this year, and this game is old
Mhm.
now. So I mean, the older 14 gets, the more impressive it is to win Game of the Year.
The boomer game still keeps going.
Yeah.
Still keeps beating Fortnite.
I'm not even gonna utter its name. The other MMO, if that's still getting.
Why?
I'm not gonna draw that ire.
Age of
so-
Wushu?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Age of Wushu.
Does
Yeah,
Age
Age
of
of
Wushu
Wushu,
still
yeah.
get Game of the Year? I don't know.
Yeah. It got it last year actually.
We also won the accessibility award.
Oh yes, true. We won. Yeah.
mhm.
Which award was that? Like which publication or organization was that?
think it's just called the Accessibility.
Oh, it's just called the
Awards.
Accessibility Award. Okay. Yeah, 14
And we
is
won
very...
remapping.
I mean, yeah, you can remap everything,
Award.
so
Yeah.
that's
Because this game is very accessible.
Yes, it is. Yeah, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Well
The Video Game
deserved.
Accessibility Award, yeah.
Ah, okay.
I am excited, particularly for the Excellence in Original Score award for winning that, because we don't often win that, especially when you can, which is surprising, especially when you consider that this video game is like in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most songs in any video game.
Yeah.
I
Well,
agree. And it always
yeah.
has such good music that you do think it's surprising when...
It's good that we won
Something
it
else wins.
because otherwise people would come with the argument that it's quantity over quality. If you're doing
Mhm.
the like, oh, but we're in the Book of World Records. But now we can say, well, we won some awards for it as well. So shut up, darling. All right, let's jump into some MogMail before we get into the main story. MogMail you can send in at speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Let's go. This one's from, oh, I know this one. From Melee, Algren, from Fairy. MS, nope, that's Chocobunny's MogMail. We're having some problems with the MogMail system. All right, well, I'll just read your MogMail, because that didn't work. All right, let's do that again. Let's see. Dear speakers, I am writing to you all as per your request for more MogMail this Monday afternoon. I appreciate your concern over the lack of interest in your audience providing content for your main show on Saturday. However, I am unable to furnish you with the resources you have requested at this time, as the proper paperwork has not been filed with the Moogle Post Administration Office. That's Maila's job, so... That explains a lot, if we haven't done that. Please supply the proper forms and submit your request in writing at 134 Bramble Branch Road, East Shroud, Black Shroud, Eorzea, and we will attempt to process your request at that time. Sincerely, this is a lot of bit. Sincerely, MPAO Administrator, Mogdan Mogpom MPA. So now
There's
that
134 buildings on Bramble Branch Road in the East Shroud.
I'll say
unrealistic.
I wasn't aware. I thought you were still operating out of 76 Admirals Avenue. Limsa.
Oh, I see. They've moved.
So that's where I sent the paperwork,
Well,
but I guess it's been lost. So I'll have to
We'll
get
sort
that sent
that
to
after
you.
the show,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
resubmit.
Yeah. So now that I've finished this arguably mediocre but enjoyable bit, I have to
I like
wonder.
how you said it was enjoyable.
Enjoyable. What are you on about? All right, but I have to wonder, what kind of bureaucratic structures do you think exists in the world of Eorzea? How formalized and capable do you think they are? These kinds of background world-building things always fascinate me. Affectionately, Melee.
The Arcanists Guild.
Yes.
We know that there's
That's
there's
bureaucracy
a
nightmare.
customs system.
I always liked that.
Yeah.
I thought that was a nice touch.
So they have that. Do we know if they
Yeah,
have
the-
is there a tax office in Eorzea and like in
I
the
imagine
realm?
it's part of that.
Like Melbon's
I
Gate?
Not that you
I
can
imagine there has
visit.
to be a tax office because you get taxed when you buy things off the market
True.
board.
That's true.
True. Okay. Yeah. So we know that there is. Do you think? Yeah. Go on, Georgi. Go on.
I miss when the taxes did change depending on the market boards you're
Same.
purchasing from. Now everything has a flat tax.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
centralized.
They've centralized.
Charlene has taken control.
Yeah. Yeah. There's
Big
teleportation.
Charlene is here.
So this is another question. Are the Aetherites privatized, or are they state-owned, do you think? Is it
They
public
sound
transport?
private.
They're privatized because you can Can't you shut off access to them if you want?
I mean, you could do that.
Yeah.
So
The
someone
public
must own that.
transportation.
Oh yeah, but I think they're like. I think it's a mixture. I
Yeah.
think there are probably state-owned ones, but there's no central like Aetherite council.
No. When you first
No.
unlock the Aetherite, there's a dude like approaches you and it's like you have to pay a fee. But is that like just a city guard that does that?
It's to Chiron.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You know what?
Yeah.
I imagine how it works is that you commission Charlian builders to build it in your city, and then that is city owned after
Yeah.
that. With maybe there's some kind of like percentage tax you pay towards Charlian.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Because obviously the city has to pay for the construction of the aetherite or the settlement. Okay.
Though some of these aetherites in stranger locations, don't worry about it.
That's different. That, yeah. There's like the Ondo cups. Like, who paid for that? Those.
Yeah, not even accounting for the ones that are in like Emoritine or space
Right.
locations.
Yeah,
There's
those
also the
Special ones that take
Tenkoto, the
tribe
ones.
locations.
Sorry, what? The what?
The ones that you go to for when you teleport to like Titan's Cave and stuff, they're technically aetherites.
Yeah, but they're more like natural crystals that they've set up. Like they look.
And they're also
weird.
one directional.
Yeah, they're one
Well, that
directional.
is also true. Yeah.
But yeah, I was mentioning the Tenkonto or Tenkoto, the ones that are made in the Far East independently from Charlian.
Yes, true.
How do they do that?
They make them out of wood.
Yeah. Don't worry. Don't think too much about it.
Yes. Listen, you pay the fee for wherever you're going to or leaving from, whichever works better.
Yeah.
So if you're going from space to like Ul'dah, you're not paying the space tax. You're paying Ul'dah tax for the destination fee.
Yes. Yeah.
And
But
if you
what if
leave
I'm
Ul'dah to the moon, it's the way around.
But what if I'm traveling from the abode of the Ea to Camp Omicron? Who am I paying, really?
Who constructed those
You
ones?
leave,
Rollo?
you leave it on the ground so someone can use it to take care of the
That's the power of our. That's the power of our dynamis. We enforced like ethereal taxes.
Right.
Or you know what? Maybe there's a fee for every teleport that you pay directly to Charlian, right? So it's not like local or anything. It's like just go straight to them. So anytime you use one.
Maybe, yeah.
I like paying Charlians for when I go back in time.
Yeah, it could be like once you've attuned to like one aetherite, you're like you've got a running like you will pay to that state forever. The money always goes to the city state you started in. So if you start in Limsa, all your fees go to Limsa. Sold.
What if the money
I've
goes
sold
to
it,
the
anyone.
people who construct the map dungeons? Who's funding those? How is there like 100,000 gil just floating around in these labyrinthine dungeons?
This is lore that was never meant to be explored. We were never meant to dig this deep.
Uncharted territory right here. We're talking about taxes.
Another public transport that they have is ferries. We have ferries. Airships.
Well, those are usually private.
Porters.
Those are private. We know at least that the airships are private because they're run by Sid's company. But the ferries, we don't know.
Possibly.
Although they are owned by Sid's company, surely he has to pay some.
He has to pay a
to the
fee.
city states
Because the city states have like literally
the docks.
Ul'dah has like sacrificed the whole top portion of the palace to hold a station.
We're in such our element. We're just talking about the minutia between fucking taxes and fees for public transportation in a goddamn video game.
It's an interesting thing. Yeah. Well, it is. Sometimes I think about it though when I'm like, look at you put something up on the market burn like. You're gonna have to pay this in fees, and I'm like, what even is this? Why? Like, such a weird thing to do. Like, oh yeah, I'm paying taxes in this fantasy game. Okay, well, there you go. I don't know if how formalized like structure in the city. Let's make it simple. The 3 city states that you start in. Let's go with those.
Yeah.
How much bureaucracy do you think there is, for instance, in Limsa Laminsa? Like, how functional is this state?
Just enough to get by.
Yeah.
From top to bottom, Ul'dah has the most.
Ul'dah is by far, the best
And then
system.
it's an argument either way, because although the pirates of Limsa Laminsa are probably not very lawful, they have the Arcanist skill, and they seem to have a lot of like customs and excise duties and
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
So I think, but Gridania, what does that have?
Well, yeah.
Get
So
taxed by the fucking elementals.
well, chat is pointing
Yeah,
out
you
that
live, you don't die.
all city-states share one thing. They all have like a local police force. So there's the Yellow Jackets, there's the Wood Whalers, and then there's for Uldad Brass Blades, which Brass Blades not a great reputation because they can
Because
be
they
bought.
didn't get paid enough.
Yeah, they can be bought out.
All 3 city-states have a police force.
Yes.
None of them have a fire force.
No, there's no fire.
Who fights fires?
The magic people. I mean, what's a fire if some magic dude can just go, oh, Wateraga.
That's
Done.
Excuse me, there's no water raga in this game.
Sorry.
Fluid
no
aura.
water
Fluid
spells.
aura.
Yeah. You put some
No
fire
one
there
uses
with-
That doesn't
water
exist
spells.
anymore.
And
Yeah,
No one uses water.
Yoshida uses water spells.
yeah, NPC
Jesus.
still.
She
do.
does.
She uses like water 4 or something.
Yeah, but she's not she's the only one. So
Yeah.
why did
Well, maybe
I mean,
we
at
can't
least-
use fluid aura because it's reserved for the fire fighters.
Uh,
So the fire
They've taken it away from-
majors. Yeah.
That's what they took away from White Mage too.
Yeah.
One last thing.
But okay,
But
so
you should have water spells.
It-
But you don't.
You should.
yeah. So Limsa I can kind of get because there's an admiral on top, and you kind of have some sort of system. Like they have a customs office. They have
command and
there's a command structure. Yeah, like I said, Gridania. How the fuck does that work? Because there's this spiritual leader that speaks 1 word per hour, and
Oh, but she's not even the one in command because she's at the bidding of some magical invisible people who
Yeah.
she tells she talks to her. Yeah, sure can, Isana.
yeah.
Sure they're talking to you.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There's some structure, but we never learn about them. Maybe that would be a very boring expansion or a patch just to
That would
learn
be an
about the
amazing-
bureaucracy of Limsa
Final
Laminsa.
Fantasy 14.
Yeah.
Taxes and death.
All right. Well, thank you, Amelie. Yeah, we can do the one more. All right. Next MogMail is sent to us from the Hero Maniac. Oh, Hero Maniac from Cactuar. What do you guys think of storybook dungeons? Dungeons showing past events being narrated to us by another party. We got our first one as our final MSQ dungeon in Shadowbringers with Amarot, and the final MSQ dungeon of Endwalker was the same format with the dead ends. The Stigma Dreamscape also falls into this category. It was a cool idea, but even now with 3 of our dozens of dungeons, I feel its novelty is already wearing out. What do you guys think?
Not with Amarok, and less so with Dead Ends. It's the Stigma Dreamscape that I felt within the same expert roulette to have 2 dungeons with the same like portal gimmick. I don't think that was a wise move.
No.
I agree. The Stigma Dreamscape is interesting though because we are actively affecting something. We are like rewriting a machine's memory.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, whereas Dead Ends is purely theatrical.
Yeah, I kind of don't. Yeah, I'm kind of done with it now. I feel I don't. Why are we telling other people's stories? You know what I mean? Like in the dungeon, I want to experience our story in a dungeon.
But the ones we have are so good, though.
I will say, yeah, they are good. I just hope this isn't like going to be a thing like going forward. Just another dungeon about a civilization we know nothing about. We'll see a glimpse in a dungeon and be like, oh, they died, and then we don't hear anything about it again. That's kind of what bothers me, I think, with these dungeons, is that we see these like little windows into civilizations you just know you'll never hear from again. So, yeah.
Well, I suppose that's why Amarot was good.
Yeah, yes, that's true.
Yoshi-P's sweating right now with Galmora as the next dungeon, but
Yeah.
And we were
at least that's-
known as Gilmora.
Yeah.
We lived underground and ate the mushroom or something.
the mole men of Galmora.
Yeah. That would be nice, because that's like a Eorzean story. That would be fine.
So your issue is more with the fact that these are just purely made up.
Yeah,
For
these
a
are made
dungeon.
up for just
Yeah,
a gimmick in a
exactly.
dungeon.
Yeah,
It
I
mean
agree with
nothing
that.
to me.
Whereas with the Stigma one, at least they're actually like the dragons and the Omicrons are pure lore for Eorzea
Yeah.
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 But the dead ends actually was just nothing.
Yeah.
Like, none of it mattered.
Nope. Still a cool dungeon though. But yeah, I feel
Oh, yeah.
I do
Great
agree
music.
that the novelty has
They did
worn out a
they
little
did
for
too
me.
much too quickly.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for sending in MogMail. Remember to send us MogMail at speakersiv.com/MogMail. Speakersiv.com/MogMail. All right, let's move into our main story. We'll start with a Famitsu survey, which this is part of the big interview. So the interview has like two pieces to it. There's a huge survey. And then there's the interview with Yoshida, Ishikawa, and Oda. We'll start with the survey. So these are questions sent out to the Japanese player base. So there were 2,060 respondents. 53% were women. 41% were men. 6% other/didn't answer. And age breakdown was, and this is interesting, only 4% were teenagers. 40% were in their 20s.
I mean,
39% 30s. 14% 40s. 3% 50s. 0.3% 60 and up.
Octro.
It is. Oh boy, interesting mix-up here. The youngins don't like this game.
No.
No, that's
4%.
like 4% teens, like maybe 18 and 19-year-olds would fill this out, but you know, like some younger people probably aren't reading Famitsu and want to fill out some survey.
Why did you say
about the game.
18, 19? Like 16 is the age limit. Isn't it even lower?
Well,
Is
no,
it-
I mean 13 is a teen.
Yeah. I mean, I know, but I mean, I'm
But I'm
assuming they're
thinking
polling
the
the people
younger
that are
they
allowed
are,
to
the
play the
less
game.
likely they would want to fill it out.
They're just too busy.
How many young people are playing MMOs?
Exactly. That's
these
what I'm trying
days?
to point out. Is that there is a low percentage of young people playing MMOs.
That is true.
That is just the truth. I mean, how many teenagers have we met in 14? I mean, you wouldn't know, but you kind
I
of
don't
know.
really talk about our age. in
No,
these
that's
games.
true. That's true. But still,
There
Yeah,
was
they
one
do.
dude in my FC a long time ago who was like 70 or 60, I think. He was just strangest man
I have
ever.
one of
His-
those.
Yeah,
yeah,
we've got one.
yeah. They're not. That's yeah. They're common.
Nice fella, just a little bit of a weirdo.
I mean, regarding teenagers, I mean, remember Yoshi-P's son plays Fortnite.
Yes. That is the
They're
game
on
for
that
teenagers.
Fortnite game.
But he's like a college student. He's like 20 something.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
true.
but he started early.
Yeah.
Fortnite's been around for a while now.
I think he's just not playing 14 because this is his dad's game, possibly. Even though if my dad had like a massive like MMO, like if he was heading
wouldn't
that,
give you
I would be
free
playing
stuff.
this shit, and I'd be like, my dad. No one would believe me though. That's the thing. If I was like,
What'd you say?
my
What'd you
dad's
say,
the
my
director
dad?
producer. If I was a
In every
teenager,
dungeon.
hell yeah.
In every dungeon, my dad made this game.
Oh, you just said my dad.
I don't know
like
about
Borat.
that because
My dad.
my dad.
because so many like actors always talk about how their children don't want to watch them. I can imagine it's a very similar thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to see how my dad writes a story.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Especially when it gets the unbridled eroticism or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey,
So
I want to do the rising. That's the only way I can talk to my father.
Oh, awful. So now you know the demographic. Let's move on to. Also, do you want to comment on the fact that there were more women than men? 53%
Yeah.
women. That's the thing we've
That's,
talked about a lot in 14. Is that for an
Yeah.
MMO, this is there's a lot of women playing this game,
Yeah.
which is nice.
A lot of women.
And yet, this is a podcast full of dudes.
We are the minority now, so we are. That's good. We are a
Yeah, we
minority
are the
podcast.
minority, but
Representing.
Oh,
Even if you looked at the
Yeah.
the demographic of people that like make content about 14, the majority of them are still men.
yes.
True. I guess I don't
But
know. I
there's
can't
more
comment
women
on
than
that.
you would think.
Yes.
There are more women than you would think.
Yeah.
But less than you would
How many
hope.
women would you think there would be?
Well, I would say that we are like 14's creative community has like There's like
plenty
one
of prominent women.
I would say Sepla is like one of the big faces of the
Yeah.
creative community in 14.
She's
so-
one of the
Yeah.
biggest people within it.
Yeah.
And there are lots of other people who do, you know, content like Mistech and stuff. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it for other games. Like right now, tell me a popular Dark Souls female YouTuber.
I don't know even a male Dark Souls YouTuber because
Well,
the
okay,
hell
well
is a
then-
Dark Souls
then-
YouTuber?
Oh well, then you have. You're not.
Sounds
This
like the
question
death
isn't
of
for
a
you.
career.
This question isn't for you, Mela.
Me,
Shut
Roland.
up. This question isn't for you. Peace
It's
of
not
silence.
for you.
But here's the thing. The thing, Rollo, is I don't know if this question is for any of us other than you.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
That's
So
I'm
Rollo,
not-
tell us a male and a female Dark
Yeah.
Souls YouTuber.
I can tell you, there's like Iron Pineapple, it's a male one, or Body Vidya, Vidya, it's a male one. I don't know any lady ones.
Okay, well, okay. The point is,
There you go.
there is a lot of women playing 14. So moving on to characters' gender. 56% of respondents play as a female character. 44% play male.
That's a fairly even split, which is possibly surprising. I don't know.
Yeah. This is broken down further between the genders. So of male respondents, 47% play as a man and 53% as a woman. And for female respondents, 40% play as a man and 60% play as a woman.
Again,
Sometimes
fairly
you-
even, so people are comfortable with either,
Yes.
which is cool.
Yes.
You just want to play dress up sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So moving on to race. This probably isn't going to surprise anyone. I think this is pretty
Well, a
much
little
what you
bit.
expect. Okay, we'll see. Mikote on top, 25%. That's not a surprise.
No.
No.
Second, Aura still doesn't really surprise me. Female Aura is very popular.
That
yes.
surprises me. I cannot.
Re-
I
What?
don't
All right.
Sorry. I hate their daintiness. It's so stupid. Stop looking like that.
Okay. 17. This is perhaps the 17% play as Lalafell.
More than I would
Lalafel's
think.
very popular in Japan.
Yeah, this is
Remember,
remember this is a
Japanese-only
Japanese.
survey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hyur is 14%. Viera is at 12%.
That's the one that surprises me.
You want it to be higher? Like you would expect
I
it to be higher?
expected it to be higher, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a
It's
new
the
race.
restrictions, I think, that drive people away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people, almost every VR I've seen seems to be wearing the default armor trousers or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nice and lacy.
And Lakil is right. It is still a new race. Like I know that Aura is not a base
look
game
where
race,
Rothgar
but
is.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
well, we'll get to that. But Aura have been in the game since 2015.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be fair, 19% is not much different from 12%. Makote is such a big majority there.
Yeah, it
25%,
is.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Ellison is at 8%. And then
Honestly,
we start.
higher than I would have expected.
Yeah.
Then it starts to drop like a rock
These
here.
last two are a bit sad.
Rogaden 3%, and Rothgar at 2%.
That's sad. I really like Rothgar up until the community took control of them.
What does that mean?
What? What does that mean?
I don't know what you mean by that.
You know, I just thought Rothgar a cool design, but a lot of weird people play Rothgar, it seems.
Well,
Um,
the problem with Hrothgar is that they have by far the least customizability of any race.
Yeah.
that is also true.
Yeah.
But don't just be playing Makote.
That I agree with.
25%.
That's so vanilla. It's
That's
Hey,
very-
50% of
I
this
mean, it's
podcast is
okay.
Makote.
it's okay to be a Mikote, but if you
No, I think that's
you know
the
what?
wrong attitude
You
to
can
enforce.
play
It's not
whatever you
okay
want.
to be
I am not
Makote.
going to gatekeep any. You play what you want to play. That's
They're the majority.
don't let
and they need to be
Mela
brought down
dictate
a
what
peg.
you should be playing. You
And
can
if
be whatever you
you're
want.
A seeker of the sun. That's a problem.
That one.
More like a seeker of the bum.
Yeah,
Got
true.
'em.
Got him.
Okay. All right, moving on. In the last, I'm also glad, by the way, that this one sort of, because I always thought I was playing the vanilla race, like here. I mean, technically I am. It's just a human.
But
But
it's rare.
in terms of number, I am not even top 3. So, you know.
No,
That's
in Japan.
because-
I
In
actually
Japan.
think I actually think you are top 3 in the West, but we don't have.
Also,
those
this is
numbers
for
right now.
respondents. This does not account for guild sellers. Because they were not part of this
How
survey.
how do you know? What if all 2,000 people are guild sellers?
I don't think guild
But they're
sellers are
more-
very common in Japan, based
They're a
on
more
Yoshi-P's
diverse
personal
bunch
bunch than you
experiences.
expected.
I don't know. I don't play in Japan. All right. In the last Famitsu survey, Viera were at 5%. Oh, that's interesting. So it has gone up. And again, it's a new race, so it's slowly getting up there. Yeah, it looks like the addition of male Viera, which have been popular with Japanese women, helped to more than double it. Okay, so this is about play frequency. This is interesting. So the options are almost every day, 3 to 5 days a week. When a new patch releases, 1 to 2 days a week, and other, which custom time schedule, I guess. Okay, so almost every day is at top. Okay, so I kind of gave it away. That's chronologic. But here we go. Almost every day is at 69%.
Nice.
Nice.
3 to 5 days a week, 19%. So it's a massive drop. Most people play every day in this survey.
Almost every day.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair though, I feel like if you're gonna respond to a survey like this, most likely you are someone who's gonna be playing
That's a good point.
often.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I think it's kind of skewed.
Yeah.
The sample.
True.
And,
Yeah.
or, you know, people like Lukiel who log in every day, perhaps, and then walk away for 4 hours
don't even do
until
that,
it logs them
to be
out.
You can't do that right now.
No,
No,
but that's the
no
sort
cat.
of way you used to play. Hey, Tifa.
Yeah, I'm watching the cat today, so apologize for the tail. Okay, so when a new patch releases is at 7%, and 1 to 2 days a week is 4%. And other is 1%. I wonder if that's just one person who's like, actually, I have a schedule. I play like like on
Let's think about like
every
let's say
full
you work
moon.
on an oil rig,
Oh yeah.
and you come home for 3 months and play, and then you can't play for 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's some jobs have that sort of thing.
Just
Yeah.
in time for a patch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if we'll ever become when a new patch release players.
Yeah.
That's always when you know things are slowing down.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. Free company membership.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, who don't show your ass? Who does not join a free company at some point, right? I feel like most people
Well.
that say no are going to be new players, but yes is at 87%. So 87% of the respondents are in a free company. 12% no. And 1%.
Yeah.
I love the 1%.
That 1%,
No answer. I refuse to
they're
answer.
not part of a free company.
Why is that?
They're
Why are you-
embarrassed about it.
why are
they're
you
embarrassed
even-
about it because they can't make friends.
Why are
so
you
they're
even
like,
doing
"Oh."
this survey? Like, what is this? Why this question is the one that you're going to be like, no, I refuse to respond to this question.
Well, why'd they
Thank you.
give the option?
It's a private matter. Yeah,
Maybe it was like a non-required
it
question.
was a
they just didn't
write-in,
click on it.
Rollo. They just added that in themselves. Like, I
No
refuse to
answer.
answer this one. Okay, so that doesn't really surprise me. Now let's talk about favorite
there's
class
so much
/
here.
job. This is a lot, so we have to just go
Yeah, just quick.
quickly through this. At the top, I think this is surprising, but I don't know. Dragoon.
Yes, I do.
10% top, highest. White mage second.
Ugh.
This makes sense because it's the only healer you unlock you can unlock at the beginning of the game.
True, but it's the last one you won in your group.
That's sadly true. Bard, so it's tied at 7%. Bard and red mage and white mage 7%. Summoner, paladin, dark knight 6%. Black mage, samurai, scholar 5%.
I think
Gunbreaker.
that high is kind of surprising to me, to be honest.
Gunbreaker, Reaper, Ninja, Monk, Machinist, Dancer, Warrior at 4%. Astrologian, Sage 3%. There's that 1% again. None
that
in
dude.
particular.
Still more
1%.
popular than Blue Mage.
And then Blue Mage at the absolute bottom, 0.2%.
The diehard blue majors.
What on earth?
I think this question was pointless.
This is a point. Yeah, kind
Because
of.
Why?
there's like 1% between almost all of them.
Yeah.
So it basically just says we generally like them all fairly equally, but Dragoon maybe a bit more.
Yeah. In a game where you can like
There's too many classes
this
to have
game,
a question like
yeah,
this.
it doesn't work with this
And you
game.
can play them all, so if you could only main one class, this would be a much better question.
Yeah. So there's an explanation for the Dragoon thing. Many of those who pick Dragoon as their favorite mention that they like Dragoon characters in other Final Fantasy games, or they fell in love with the class in the Heavensward trailers.
What the hell? You
I
can't
know
pick
so
Dragoon
many
for that.
people who were like, when the gauntlet went on in the trailer and there's like a chunk thing, they're like, I gotta play. I've known like at least 5 people that saw that, and now all they do is play Dragoon.
Yeah, yeah. So
Can't do that, Mela.
No, I mean, like, if you go on to then play Dragoon and it's your favorite, fine. But if it's like, I like Kane, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Dragoon in Final Fantasy 14
What's wrong with that?
because it's not. It's a
it's
different game.
Isn't it the only game that's sorry, the only class that you can start in the game that's from the start that's like overtly of like reference to another game? Well, a specific game, Dragoon. Didn't it start with Kane?
I guess so.
There you go. If Kane
I
is a
guess so.
popular figure in Japan, it makes sense that they'd be like, "Oh, that's his class. That's what I'm gonna
But
play."
then, like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, to be fair, you
It
start
starts
as a
as
lancer.
Lancer, so
Yeah,
you wouldn't know,
that's
yeah.
true. Okay, this one's probably a little more interesting, but it makes sense. No, actually, favorite crafter or gatherer class. The top one does not surprise me that's culinarian. It is the one that generates the safest form of income because it's
Yes.
consumables and raiders need food. There you go. You're set. Second is a little interesting. None in particular at 16%.
I mean,
I
Yeah,
agree
there's
with
not
that.
because
much variety.
after culinarian, what? Who are you going to say? Weaver?
Every-
Your favorite's Weaver?
Every
Why?
crafter plays the same.
Yeah. So I don't even know if there's any point reading these, but Fisher at 14%, Weaver at 11, Botanist at 10, Alchemist 9, Miner 7, Carpenter 4, Goldsmith 4, Blacksmith 3, Leatherworker 1, and Armorer 1%.
I kind of, I
Yeah.
sort of roughly
That
agree with that.
sounds about right.
say that Fisher being as high as it is makes sense because it's the only one that has any sort of unique gameplay.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that too. Yeah. But it's
Fisher is
also
a unique-
ingredients for the culinarian, so it kind of makes sense that as well. You see that, Weaver is above Botanist, which is interesting, but Botanist too supplies the culinarian, so it makes sense for it to be higher.
has a lot of glamour options and also minions to
Oh,
craft.
true.
Maybe
That's true.
why.
Yeah, true. All right, this is interesting. Time
Yeah.
respondents started playing Final Fantasy 14. So you know what? I want to start at the bottom and then work our way up because I think that's more interesting.
But it's not in percentage order.
No, this is in the order of a year. So let's
Yes,
start
yeah.
with 1.0. So 2010 to 2016. Out of the respondents, 6%.
2012.
2010 to 2012. Sorry, 6%. That's
Mistakes.
1.0. That's
The regretters.
yeah.
Yeah. How many of them are
That's
still
you,
around?
Lucia.
Just
Yeah.
him.
That's technically me. And 6% out
Just
of
him,
2000.
6%.
That's
Yeah, he's a big boy.
Feels very wide.
yeah.
Yeah.
2013. So A Realm Reborn, 16%. 2014, 6%.
Yeah,
That's
technically started
me.
then, but then had a gap.
That's you,
2015.
Rilla?
Yeah, well, it's 2014, 2013-ish.
Okay.
I mean, it came out in August of 2013, so
Right,
you can
yeah,
have all the
yeah.
time. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2015, 5%. 2016.
That's the Heavens Waters.
Yes. 2016, 6%. 2017, this is where you start seeing the number going up. 2017, 7%.
The Stormblooders.
2018,
Oh.
8%. 2019,
Freaks.
12%.
The Shadowbringers.
And then massive jump, 2020, 20%. And then 2021 to 2022, 12%. Sorry, I closed the door for my cat. So she
That is ridiculous, though. Like how big the recent years are. That's crazy.
It's surged. It's kind
Really?
of interesting that like Heavensward is actually the lowest point in terms of join
It was-
percentage.
It was still a
I-
niche back then, is the thing.
Yeah.
It was still a niche,
Yeah.
and it was only after Heavensward and people started to get see that this MMO might be a bit more than just an MMO.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
like it has received like public adoration.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I started on a Realm Reborn launch, but dropped off when my FC died, and I think I came back 15 or 16.
Mm.
Also,
Mhm.
people are right. 2020 COVID. So
True.
It's true.
Okay,
Yes,
moving on.
true.
We need to speed up. Favorite cat hairs everywhere. Favorite
Yummy.
song. Popular choices included "Flow," "Answers," "Dragon Song," "Close in the Distance," "Endwalker Footfalls," "To the Edge," "Tomorrow and Tomorrow," "Torn from the Heavens," "'Neath Dark Waters," "Triumph." Other mentions included the Twinning theme and Old Charlian night music.
Not
Damn,
that
is
surprising.
Is Triumph the boss theme from Stormblood?
Yeah.
Sure.
it
That's
is.
interesting. Of all the boss themes, that's the one that people most like. I know Rollo likes it, or at least I'm pretty sure you do, don't you?
I like it more than Heaven's Word, but my favorite is still Shadowbringers,
Right.
Insatiable,
Mhm.
which I'm surprised it's not on here. Insatiable.
Yeah, it is not.
The majority of them are like what you'd expect, though.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
Most of these are lyrical songs, which
Yeah.
are the ones that you would imagine get caught in people's heads the easiest.
Easier to remember.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Favorite equipment, which is an interesting thing to ask.
How?
So popular choices included the Neo-ish Guardian set. I mean,
Good set.
that's a good set. The Edenmorn set.
That's
Which-
the last
Remember.
Don't ask me
tier.
which one is that?
Yeah.
That's the last tier. Has like lots of. It has Gaia's outfit.
It's the one
and then
that
it has,
looks
Oh,
like
the-
Gaya's
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yes, yes, yes.
and it
yes.
has like the fur coats and all that. It's
right,
really nice.
Right. Yeah. The Rebel coat, which is good.
Very nice
Wow.
And
coat.
House for Tom kite shield. So
Oh, of course.
wonder why.
Mm-hmm.
Favorite
Yeah,
mount. So I mean, there's nothing to add to that. That's
This
I
one's
mean,
fine.
they're good. Favorite mount. Popular choices included the standard chocobo.
Glad to see that.
Yeah. Argos and the SDS Fenrir.
I mean, it's the only mount that has a buff.
Yeah. Other mentions included the Regalia, Amaro, Grani, Black Chocobo,
Ugh.
and Deathclaw.
Deathclaw!
Guardia?
It's the funniest mount. We're one of the funniest.
I think out of this one, Grani is by far the ugliest mount, and the one that I use the least out of these. Well, I never use
You
any
use
of
the
these, but-
Regalia more.
Yeah, I've definitely used the Regalia more than I've used the Grani. I don't remember the last time I used the Grani, to be honest.
I'm surprised to see Argos on there.
Yeah,
He's like
considering-
relevant right now.
He's
It's
recency
relevant,
bias.
so it's probably why. 'Cause
Yeah.
he is actually really weird.
I forgot that I had that. Yeah, that's just a dog.
Yeah, it's just a glowing golden dog.
yeah,
It looks like Minfilia.
yeah.
Well, true.
I hate Argos so much. I don't like that mount at all.
No.
That's not my favorite roulette. I hate its eyes. It just looks at you.
All right.
Why do you hate the Granny?
The Grani looks horrible. It also doesn't. I don't like it. I've never liked the Grani.
I like the Granny. I
fa-
use that a lot in Shadowbringers.
Favorite minion. Well, actually, the Grani makes more sense now. They actually got a lore explanation, didn't it, recently?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that was what
It's in
bothered me.
Selk's mount.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it bothered me before because it just came out of nowhere. It didn't mean anything. I'm like, what the fuck is this creature? Why am I writing this? All right.
Now the Endwalker mount makes no sense.
Right.
There's no lore
Yeah.
explanation for that.
No.
Well, no,
It's
didn't
just
they?
a cool paladin.
Didn't they
Oh.
say it was it La Habrea that made it or something? Someone made it, and it's just a fucked up horse with lots of legs.
Oh, is that the actual lore explanation for it?
I might be wrong, but I feel like that's. I remember something like that about
Sure.
that's how it came to be.
I don't care about the collector's edition mounts. They don't. I don't. They.
Wow.
They've never been a draw for me. They always like we got the big fucking Lapras
The
mount.
Sildra.
Yeah,
that
the
one was
Sildra.
amazing.
Cool, but Sildra feels slow as fuck.
It's too big.
Yeah.
It's too big.
I don't like Sildra, but I liked the last two.
Yeah. All right. Favorite minions. Midgard Stormer, Starbird, and Fat Cat. Yeah, that's the top
Okay,
3.
mega recency bias then, because like Starbird, whatever.
Yeah,
It's just
I
we've
know.
already had
That-
Bluebird, and no
That
one
is
cares about that
recency
thing.
bias, but there you go. Yeah. Other mentions included Namasu, Notkin, and the Major General, aka the short one.
I love the Major General.
Yeah,
I like him too.
good.
Namasu, not Golden Namasu.
Now moving on. This is like the big one. Favorite main story. And this is where recency bias obviously is going to be very difficult
much
to like
so.
separate here, because at the top you will have Endwalker at 46%, and that's just, come on now. That's recency bias.
I mean,
that
you know,
It's definitely a recency.
but
bias.
that's so I'm
But,
actually
like,
more
maybe
interested.
10% of it.
I'm more interested in the ones below, because that feels more. But again, yeah. So Shadowbringers, 37%.
Yeah.
Heavensward, 11%.
they're so wrong.
Stormblood drops all the way down to 4%.
4% still too high for Stormblood.
And at the very bottom, with a meager 2%, is A Realm Reborn.
That's so bizarre.
No, that's not bizarre.
That's not bizarre.
A Realm Reborn story compared to these expansions is...
It definitely pales.
Yeah.
But there's no nostalgia bias or anything. It's like
Well,
people
isn't
have
that
just
good?
sworn it off. I don't know, maybe, but
I mean, I feel like that makes it...
2%'s crazy.
A Realm Reborn story, Mela, isn't that good. It was,
I know it's
it was
not.
hastily patched together.
Mela, we
Yeah.
started an A Realm Reborn playthrough, and we stopped because we got bored.
Well, yeah, that is true. No, A Realm Reborn wasn't amazing. I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But
I'd
it's
be
just
the one-
interesting that it's so low.
Yeah.
I'd be the one with the nostalgia bias. I like a Realm Reborn. It's just comfy. It's like
is
coming
comfy.
home.
I agree with that. It's like we have a personal connection to A Realm Reborn, so there's like we enjoy A Realm Reborn, but it's not great compared to like the other expansions, is it? Yeah, I don't agree with Endwalker having that big a percentage, because I think a lot of that is recency bias.
No.
I would say the fact that Shadowbringers is still as high as it is, even after Endwalker's release, will probably shows that it will probably end up higher.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
time
Shadowbringers
than
is
Endwalker.
definitely still the top.
Yeah. Okay, this is a weird question. Favorite subquest? Side
quest, I
quest.
guess.
Yeah. But the answers make sense. Hildebrand.
Yeah.
Post Moogle. Tales of the Dragon Song War. Sandwiches and Pretzels.
What is that?
Which one's sandwiches and pretzels?
Isn't it the Graha? Or
Yeah.
Crystara?
No, is
Is
it?
that a side
That's
quest?
not a side
I
quest,
thought
that's
that was
MSQ.
MSQ.
Sandwiches and Pretzels quest line. What
Oh, okay. That's the one where you find. That's where you meet Papalima's father. Okay.
Oh,
I've
yes.
not done that yet.
Oh God! All right.
Okay, that's fair.
That makes sense. Okay. Return to Evilise, the Dark Knight quest line, and Sorrows of Werlit. So
The Prize
Good
Sorrows of
choices.
World is up there, but I agree. I think it's one of the best.
I thought the Werlit quest lines were really good.
mm, Yeah.
Way
It's one-
preferred that side of it than the Bosjan side. Even though they were slightly tied for a while.
yeah.
Like Bosja really lost its way, I felt.
Well, I don't
mind Bosja.
Well, I mean, I don't
I
mind
hated
it,
that woman
but-
in it, and I didn't like that she turned into the queen or whatever, and it all went a bit
Why?
weird.
You didn't like Misaya?
I hated Misija.
Misaya.
Isia.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand her.
I thought we all said we really liked.
No, Mela never liked it.
Mela,
I've
Mela
never
never
liked
Mela
her.
was never a
But
fan.
I liked Bosja, and I liked the Bosjan quest for the most part, but Werlit was much better.
I love how Mela refuses to update how he refers to Bosja.
Yeah. You're still a
Bosja.
Bosja. Okay. Right. Favorite zones. Churning Mists.
What?
That's so weird.
Insanity.
Can
What?
we just get a what, please, on that?
Wh-
The brownest,
I'm
most
sorry,
boring,
what?
blandest zone ever.
The
I
The
think it's
only
people
interesting
that are
thing there
nostalgic
is
for dragons and
Zephyr.
Heavenswood, but still.
that's
they're not that nostalgic for them, Yogi, because they give Heavenswood like a 4%.
Yeah.
No, Heavenswood was 11%.
Heavenswood was 11. Yeah.
Well, still though, it's not that high.
Uh.
And if you want Dravania, go for Dravania. The hinterlands and forelands are so much nicer than the
Churning Mist is awful.
Or even go for a Sea of Clouds. At least it's green.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Amarot,
Ugly
Elpis, Mare
I have to
Lamentorum.
say,
Yeah.
I like Amarot because that's not the zone. They only like one half of the zone.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
true.
The
Yeah.
Tempest, they
Yeah.
didn't like all of it.
No.
Which is fair, because actually the first half is not that nice looking.
It's like
Don't mind
Sestasha.
it.
It's fine, but it's
I
not that
prefer
great.
the music personally, but I know I'm in the
Well, the
minority
music's
for that.
good.
Yeah. And again, I see there's a little bit of recency bias because I think almost all of there's a lot of Endwalker zones in here. Mare Lamentorum, the Crystarium, Old Charlian, Ultima Thule, and the Sea of Clouds. Azim Steppe. Oh, there's more, sorry. Azim Steppe, Limsa Laminsa, Southern Thanlan, and East Shroud. There you go.
Southern Thanalan.
Limsa
Shroud.
Limsa.
I
I
guess.
think
Yeah.
I don't know. Sorry, go ahead.
you go first, Rollo.
I was gonna say, I guess Southern Thanalan's kind of interesting because it's like a big desert area, which we don't really have anywhere else.
It is.
Well, no, but we have. I don't know. I give up. I guess they just like it because it's.
It's the nicer part of Thanlan, I think, southern, because it has the little desert area. But yeah, going your.
I think Old Charlian is going to maintain its popularity because
Yes.
so many of our characters have ties to it. Ultima Thule, I think, is interesting just because of its ties to dragons and the Omicrons.
Mare Lamentorum, though.
No, I disagree with Mare Lamentorum. They had one underground cave bit.
Yeah.
They should have had loads of underground. It should have been like half. It should have been a hollow, not the rabbit place though. I don't want.
I hate going to the fucking Loperit place.
Yeah,
It's
the
just-
rabbits would ruin the moon. Stupid.
I
rabbit.
like Mare Lamentorum, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite zone.
No.
Yeah, I like it too.
It's cool to be on the moon.
I like the Cradle of Darkness,
But it's
especially
the
when
moon.
it still had Zodiac.
Yeah. Okay, favorite characters. This is not going to surprise anyone. Number 1, Emmett Selk. Number 2, Grahatia.
Wow.
Number 3,
Wow.
Horsefont. And no one bats an eye because this is expected.
We'll say,
Please.
Horsefont has massive staying power. He has not existed in an alive sense since Heavenswood.
I know. Well,
Hey,
he keeps
I'm
being
glad about
referenced,
that,
though.
though.
They keep him alive in that sense in
Or
the game.
fucking
Hey, they
beating that
reference
dead
Eorzea.
horse.
They reference Ysael's don't.
Oh, okay, the
Ysael
one
was
time-
done dirty. I hate that. I hate her. I hate how she died, and I hate
In
that she's...
fairness, Georgi, Horsefont was probably the last character that actually died and stayed dead.
Hey, Papa Lumo's still dead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Papa
Reps
Limo.
in Papa Limos, but
Minfrida,
Minfilia's still
she
dead.
was.
Yeah.
Minbrida
Just
was
took a while
before.
for her to die.
Yeah.
Minfilia was like, I'd already got over her because she was the Mother Crystal speaker for so long or whatever.
Because
Yeah.
she took so long to officially die.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They hate killing people, and it shows.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing happened this expansion death-wise.
I mean, but that doesn't have to happen for it to be a
People
good
don't
story.
have to die
More
to make
death.
a good story, Mela.
Okay,
no.
I bet you love the scene from the fucking Game of Thrones where they all die. You thought that was so fucking epic, huh?
So they also add here that a numbered ranking is only given for these top 3, and percentages aren't provided. But other characters that presumably were popular enough to get their own feature on the opposing page are Alphino, Thancred, Y'shtola, Alice, Estinian, Oriange, Vana, Hythlodius, Hermes, Hythlodeus. Hermes, Xenos. Other characters mentioned by some respondents included Ardbert, Emmerich, Reen, and Tataru. That's essentially that's just the main cast.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Japan, very vanilla character choices there. Maybe Ardbert is the most interesting you picked.
Yeah.
Honestly, Hermes is kind of surprising.
Really?
Recency.
That's recency.
I don't know if many people like Hermes.
No, I
Like,
don't like
personally.
Hermes.
I think he's a nice young man. I like him.
I think he's an interesting character, but I don't think many people would say he's
People
their
like
favorite.
broken characters.
Yeah.
So
I'd like
I
it if
see- I
they
can see
put
that.
even one character who wasn't front and center stage. You know,
I'm surprised if this was a Western, like survey, Hori Boulder would 100% be on this
Oh,
list.
please. Yeah, he'd be number one, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know who would be up there? Curious George.
Right,
The
yes.
Curious Gorge.
Yeah.
Curious
Gorge.
Gorge. What a character.
He would absolutely be up there for no fucking reason.
Right,
And
yeah.
whatever that Heinrich Halfmast guy was, or whatever. You know, the
I
whatever he
don't
was.
enough
called.
people think of him. I'm surprised Hildebrand's not on this list.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He should be here.
That's true.
So,
And I'd accept him because he's like side characters, like not main cast.
we need to speed very fast now. So, there's some blurbs about why they picked Emmett
Some
Selk.
testimonials.
Some testimonials. So this is for why they chose Emmett Selk. He had a strong desire to restore the ancients to what they once were, and he was deeply connected with others, tried to understand them, and struggled. Although he said humans are despicable, I think he truly loved humanity. Although he is an Asian and was the last boss of Shadowbringers, but he has a very human side. That's what I really like about him. From Jiku 20s Mail.
Oh, thank you, GQ.
We can't read all these testimonials. I think I'll just read one.
Maybe
from
read
each.
one for each character.
Yeah, I think I'll do that. Graha for Graha Tia.
Read the middle one, please.
Okay.
Just because of the person's name.
All right. I would never have thought that we get to say good morning to him since we said good night to him at the Crystal Tower. I was so happy. From Tomato in her 30s, female. So,
Thank you.
shout out to Tomato. Yeah. From Horshafont, Greystone. I
like to eat dirt, and I like the taste of water. That's what they said.
You're so
Horseshoe.
mean.
My vanilla is my favorite flavor of ice cream, and I just felt such a connection.
A very vanilla character. For the FC.
Oh, okay.
He's like bubblegum flavor, Rollo.
Okay, Horshafont. Okay, he was an incredibly important person who stood by our side, not because we were a hero, but because we were his friend. From some Pipi, 30s.
Same Pipi.
Okay, favorite battle content. Popular choices included The Final Day, Seat of Sacrifice, Ultimate Coil of Bahamut, Final Coil Turn 4, which
Specific?
yeah, Titan Extreme, Final Steps. I don't know. Japan has always had this like weird fascination with Titan. Remember how much they used that in promo material, the Titan fight.
Titan.
Even in Dad of Light, they had like the Titan fight being like this massive thing. Weird. It's been this incredible fascination for it. Final Steps of Faith, Orban. I almost said Orban Mother Crystal. Orban Mother Crystal, Omega, Sostasha. Hold on.
What?
I'm sorry. You fuckers said Sostasha as your
that might
favorite.
be why
This is
it's-
a joke. They've joked.
This might be why it's in Stranger Paradise.
This can't be true. They were trolling. They were like, this must be like a common, like Westerners
Yeah,
would
it's
be
a
like
joke
Hori
in
Boulder.
Japan,
We'll put
yeah.
Hori Boulder, and like they'll be like,
Yeah.
yes,
They-
So the next one I can tell you is a joke.
Sostasha is a joke, right?
Yeah.
Has to be.
Yeah, it is a joke. I think it's a joke because no one likes Sostasha. And also, I mean, it's followed by Cape Westwind, which again, yeah, that is another joke. And Eureka.
I know, that's surprising, isn't it?
Yeah.
Favorite battle content.
Yeah.
Ugh. Eureka.
I like
That's my
Eureka. I'm
favourite-
still
that's
going to
no
say
big
that
deal.
Eureka
That's
was a
my
good time for me.
favorite battle content out of everything in the
Oh,
game.
yeah, that's
my
true.
Favorite.
Yeah.
I can't believe anyone would say that.
It's the 11 players, maybe.
Yeah, it must be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with Eureka, and I thought Animus was really fun at the time, and you know they only ruined it because Pagos sucked
Pagos
too much.
destroyed it, but the ones that came
If-
after were
yeah,
all right.
if they'd done Pyros and just skipped Pagos and kept getting better, I'd have stuck with it. But it's not the best battle content. It's not anyone's favorite.
No, I don't. I would never
Come on.
put Eureka on my like favorite list. No. Favorite non-battle content: housing, crafting, and glamour.
That's all of the options.
Lord of Dominion.
Oh yeah.
There's
true.
also
Gold,
gathering.
Gold Saucer in general.
God Saucer, yeah.
Gathering is not listed, only crafting. So, there's that.
Gathering's not fun.
No, I know.
Gathering's
but
relaxing.
It's another one of the non-battle content.
I
Crafting's
would put
more
fishing on here for
stressful.
myself, to be honest.
You would put what?
Yeah, at least
Sorry?
that's
love
relaxing.
Fishing.
Fishing.
Yeah. I
And
would
triple
not.
triad.
That's
I like
relaxing
triple
too,
triad.
and
I don't like triple triad cards that are locked behind content or like battle content.
I don't like how triple triad plays in this game. Like the reward system in this game. I don't like RNG. It should be the way it was meant to be played.
Oh,
They take
that's
your cards.
controversial.
I don't like that there's no risk, and I don't like that you can't like pick the card you want from their deck after you've won. That's how it should be, but
Yeah, Rollo, they take your card and you have to go back to the Gold Sorcerer and buy
Yeah.
bronze card packs to build yourself back up.
It should be.
okay. I guess we move on to the interview. This is a Yoshi-P interview.
How many pictures of Yoshi-P holding wine do you have?
Enough.
Oh, my
Enough.
God's sake.
All right, so we need to get through this quite fast. So let's do this. So this is with Ishikawa, Yoshi-P, and Oda-san. So let's go. When did you decide to bring the story so far to a conclusion? Ishikawa says, after Shadowbringers released around the end of 2019, Image Studio, which is the CGI studio, it used to be Visual Works, had to be provided with storyboards. In autumn and winter of that year, we went on a residential together in order to decide the main points of the story for the next expansion. But the problem was, we're used to the writing process, and so feeling that here are the remaining parts of the story we have to talk about, so let's accept the rest. The residential went very smoothly. I was in charge of filling in the details of the story elements, but when I looked at the structure of the content again, I thought, this might be okay for just another expansion, but if this is labeled the finale, is it really okay? So I reworked the story from the plot outline. The end result was ready 2 days before the deadline. What did I just read? Like, it was...
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
What? So when was it? Sorry.
Sorry, what? Any questions?
So
No,
when did they decide?
Many.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Thank
my
you,
love.
Ishikawa.
Thank you for that answer. In the plot, at that point, were elements such as Meteon already included? Ishikawa says, the name Meteon wasn't there yet, but the base form of what she became had been decided. Yoshida says, during the residential, the core parts of the story were listed, but after that, Ishikawa said, we didn't reach an agreement, so I rewrote it. As a result, when we compared the story decided on at the residential and the rewrite Ishikawa presented, we thought it was the right choice to rework this. So, what did they reworked? It's a little unclear what they reworked in this interview, to be honest.
Just some parts of it.
Just some parts. Okay. Yoshida goes on to explain that around the time of Stormblood, the team didn't really think about how the story would continue long term. When making Shadowbringers, it was said that about 80% of the plot points have been revealed, and they thought after Shadowbringers it may be possible to keep things from going from 1 to 2 more expansions. Looking at the fan response immediately after Shadowbringers, he felt that there should be 1 more expansion. Yeah. I still stand by the... I still think...
They're about to talk about it.
Yeah, they're about to talk about it, but you know my stance
I
on
would
this.
agree with that, yeah.
If the story had been 2 expansions and continued up to 7.0, what was the planned structure? Ishikawa says, we expected that there'd be 1 expansion about Garlemald, the idea... Which... That's so sad to read. The idea was that Anima would be the boss. Then the next expansion you'd fight against Hydaelyn, Zodiark, and so on.
That'd have been good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna disagree. I think it came out good. How it was.
I agree, but also I don't know if I agree with their plan. If Anima was the final boss, and then Zodiark is still being held over to the next expansion, that's what they're saying here.
Yeah.
I think Zodiark should have been the final boss of this hypothetical mid-expansion.
Yeah, maybe Zodiac, but...
Well, if they wanted it to be a Garlemald-focused expansion, just to finish the chapter on Garlemald, then it wouldn't...
We would have explored so much more of Ilsabard.
Yeah, that's what I feel like is
We
implied
still
here. We
can.
probably would have gotten
We won't, Rollo.
Corvos.
I'll tell you now, we won't.
There's more of Ilsabar.
We
but I
got
just...
one Garlemald zone. One. For the empire that has been the threat of the game since 2010. We got one zone.
But they were done. They were basically done after Stormblood.
We didn't get any, not from the capital. We didn't know anything what was going on in the capital. We got like glimpses, like pew, pew, and then they killed Varys, and then Xenos is there. Like it was very rushed. I feel like Endwalker was rushed. It feels like two
Very much
expansions
so.
that were slammed into one because
Yeah.
there's like two storylines. They did
Too
the
much
two
happens
storylines
in such a
thing again.
short space of time.
Yeah,
It goes
think
from
that's-
like
I still liked Endwalker again.
yeah,
but,
of course, but it goes from like nice to being Charlian. Oh, I wonder what the secret is. To suddenly, I've killed Zodiac. Now I've time traveled back in time.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, it was this pixie harpy little girl all along.
When they
Now there's a spaceship.
when they do stuff like this, like with the two, like what they had originally thought that they were going to do two expansions. The story would fit. I think that's what the rewrite is about at the beginning of this interview, is that she had to rewrite it because it was going to be one expansion. That's what she said. But when it kind of feels like they didn't want the Garlemald part in, because they're kind of rushing it a little. The whole Garlemald part of the story has to be rushed so that we can catch up to the rest of the story, and then all of a sudden you're in Elpis. Kind of feels a little disjointed at parts.
Yeah.
But I feel like if everything ended at Garlemald Capital with Anima, or wherever Anima would have been, whatever final Garlemald zone, I would have been so exhausted, especially coming off of Shadowbringers with like all the big reveals we get there and what's built off there. Like, it would, Garlemald would feel like such a diversion that I'd be like, I get it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I've gotten what I've gotten from Garlemald after like maybe 2 or 3 zones.
But didn't you feel like Shadowbringers, remember they always had that meanwhile at the Imperial Palace, that was like building up for something. Like that's, we always said that the next expansion is the Garlemald expansion, because we kept seeing Estinian and Gaius like in the center of like really important events, like the killing of the Emperor. We saw the human experiment weapons that they were making that were, I think, later tied into the, did that tie into the, no, that was tied into the Wurlit stuff eventually, I think, because we saw that at the... remember the horrible weapon with, like, the white corpse thing that just screamed?
Well, that's Wurlit, though.
That tied into Wurlit later. But there's all this stuff in the palace, and then we get to Endwalker, and the capital is already blown to shits. Like, it's just all... Garlemald's gone. And it happened off-screen.
Yeah.
You know what? Good. I like the breakneck speed of Endwalker.
This is such a Rollo take.
The entire time, I'm like, okay, so much is happening. More can't happen within like the next hour, and then more just keeps happening. Aside from the Loperate Pit, but which is fine. They can be a little bit of a break. That's okay. I think it was refreshing, and I don't think I could have taken on this entire dragging on of like the Hydaelyn and Zodiac thing. Just another expansion of that, even though we know Zodiac is already dead. He's been dead. The heart of Zodiac is dead.
I think the problem for me is that we went from it's the pacing is off in the story, because there's like two expansions worth of story that has to like combine, and that's why we get the Loperate part where it's like suddenly everything's just scrolling, like it's a big slow slog, but then all of a sudden it's like full speed, Garlemald falling, man radio, there's all the shit that happened in Garlemald. Sometimes I forgot when I was playing Endwalker that we had the whole Garlemald storyline, because we're all of a sudden we're like fucking around in Elpis. And I'm like, okay, the ancients. How does this even make sense with the Garlemald shit? How is this tied to that at all? It isn't. That's the point. It's not tied to that at all. It has nothing to do with the plot.
I don't want another big Garlean thing. I think that would have just dragged on, and like we get the point of
But then it would be over. But then it would be over. At the end of that expansion, it would be over, But now we have this like,
Isn't the
what's Garlemald now?
isn't the worry that it could have turned into Stormblood 2.0?
That's the worry, of course. But that we had like two weird, but we kind of had that already. That's what I'm saying. Like we already had two storylines. We had Garlemald, and then we had the Hydaelyn Zodiark
Yeah, but they didn't
story.
try and split the time between them in terms of jumping back and forth, at least.
No, but instead it caused this like weird pacing problem and this like disjointed feeling of like jumping between two like very separate stories.
But that's the part I like though, because like you gotta admit, by the time you beat Zodiark, you're like, I'm level 83. How?
Yeah.
Like that's a nice feeling of like so much has happened
Really?
in so little time. Yeah, I think that was cool.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
I thought it was a worrying sign.
I know that once you finish Garlemald, you're only like 83.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have handled that for too many more levels. The Garlemald section is very oppressive, very depressing.
Well, yeah,
A
but
lot to deal with.
because it's post. But if this was like an expansion, we probably would have had more like time in the capital as it was like collapsing on itself instead
Well, that's
of
the thing.
yeah.
Like, we get it. Like we get what the Garlean deal is. We've known since, I mean, what, end of Shadowbringers? Like I
think maybe I feel stronger about this because this has been something that's been going on since like I started the game, like 2010. And I expected it to get like a better send off than, oh yeah, it blew off screen and now people are sad. Like that's it. And that's like, okay, I guess that's the mighty Garlemald. We never got to see Garlemald as the mighty Garlemald. Every time we got to like a fight with Garlemald, they either backed off, they fell apart, civil war, Emperor got killed. At no point has Garlemald felt like a real threat other than one time, which was
End of Stormblood?
yeah, what was the fight? The dungeon, when there was actual like World War One. But then they pulled out.
Timlet Dark.
Yeah, in the next expansion, they're like, oh no, never mind. Black Rose? Never mind.
I feel like if you thought Garleans were like the main issue, especially after Shadowbringers, that maybe you kind of were focused a bit too much on them and rather what was actually happening. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree. I think what Rollo's trying to say, and I think I agree with him, is that the focus had already shifted past Garlemald.
That's true. That's true. But you can always, I mean, you're talking about removing an entity that's been in the game forever, and they did it off screen. That's my only problem. And it feels like maybe we would have had more time than to just be like, it exploded, people are sad, this general killed himself. Anyways, move on to Elpis.
Okay, you know what would be
the
like?
moon first.
Oh yeah, the moon.
Yeah, there's a whole moon section.
Go to the moon.
And the second section in Thavnet.
Which has nothing, like, none of this has anything to do with the story of Garlemald, other than it's seen us being there.
Like, imagine this. I feel this would be an equivalent. Maybe it'll help you understand my point a bit more, or how I feel about it at least. Imagine another hypothetical expansion where whatever happens in Shadowbringers just doesn't really matter for whatever reason.
Uh-huh.
And this new one, Allagan themed. This is the Allagan expansion, whether that be time travel or whatever. But going into this, you already know Allagans were just kind of a big puppet. And towards the end, you know why everything's happening. You know why this is there. You know Zanti, like, there's no reason to drag this out or be an entire thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The idea is that, like, Garlemald, like the Allagans, was, once you find out that Garlemald is the orchestration of an Ascian, kind of takes away its power.
No, it makes it more intriguing for me because, like, how the fuck did that happen? Like, what are the structure? Like, how did that happen? And how do people deal with that if that came out? Like, this, you are a construct of, like, a being that, an Ascian. Like, that would have been very interesting to
I disagree with that point. Like, just because one player or one small group of people know that the Empire was orchestrated by an Ascian, literally everyone else in Garlemald believes they're a Garlean citizen and believes in the Empire. They believe in their cause.
Yeah.
They're a strong nation. They were the conquerors of the world.
But they also
just
have
got killed through attrition, through random events throughout the course
Exactly.
of the game, never being the power they should have
Are they
been.
truly random? Because almost every time that they fail, it's a result
Well,
of Asians
It's like
not
Team
helping
Rocket,
them
Yogi.
anymore.
It's
Like,
Team
'cause
Rocket
Laha Br-
battles.
The times when they fail
we
are
don't
when
have
they
time
don't
for
have the
this.
assistance of Laha Brea anymore, or Emmett Cell, or Elidibus. Once all they're gone, Xenos steps in and just destroys the Empire.
That's the point that I have. That's what I have a problem with. How easily it just broke apart. We have no idea. Like, just that was so fast, so quick. He just brought down an empire that's been there for. We don't know
It
how
was just
old
to
is
push it
Garlemald.
forward to finish it because they couldn't be bothered to write a story.
That's what
for
I
it,
mean.
guess.
That's my problem with
Well, I
it.
think the
Yeah.
idea is that once the Asians were gone, the people that were like helping keep the Empire like sustained, because they're the only ones that really wanted it to be sustained, it sort of fell
But
apart.
see, you're making that up because we don't know. Right? That's the problem. I would like to know how that happened. Also, there's also other stuff that I'm sad that we're probably not gonna maybe we'll learn about it through other quests. We don't know what the next hopefully the next patches will deal with Garlemald at some point. But they have a long history that we never touched on. Like the fact that the formation of the
future stuff.
Empire. Like, how did that happen?
Well, why relegate it to like weird future side content now? As though like, oh, let's look back on.
That's
Garlemald.
why-
It
that's-
could have happened.
that's
you,
what-
you know why it's better if it is patch content, because you don't have the looming threat of Asians, Zodiark, Hydaelyn, the End of Days looming overhead. Like
We never had any of that.
Okay. So I just wanted to say, see question like, what do you want? If I don't necessarily want to be in a pre-destruction Garlemald, I would at least want us to spend more time in there and learn more about it, because it gets
Yeah.
brushed over very fast. Like it's because we have to move on. We have to go to the moon and we have to go to Elpis and defeat Zodiark and also Hydaelyn and also there's so much shit that we have to do. But
Do you not think it would have been an intriguing expansion if we ended at the Zodiac fight and thought we'd saved the day?
Yeah.
And then in the patches and the trailers, we suddenly see, oh no, the final days have started.
Yeah.
But why? Because we didn't know anything about how they were going to start back then.
And also, having it be a Garlemald themed expansion means we would have definitely gotten more zones. We would have explored more of the territories directly around the capital, which we know nothing about. Like we have all we have is
we
the
could have
capital.
had like 3
province.
Elsabad zones and 2 moon zones.
Yeah,
or
for
something.
instance.
I mean,
yeah.
here's the thing though, Mela. You're making an assumption based on the idea that the expansion ended with Zodiac, which, from what they're saying, it did not.
No, that's
No, I
true.
It's
disagree with
hypothetical
that.
Garlean.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think it should have pushed to Zodiac.
Which-
and he should have
I
been
don't
the
want
Which is
final boss.
probably
pure
why-
Garlemald one. Yeah, go on.
This is probably why they didn't think it worked, because they didn't think of the idea of ending it with Zodiac.
But
That's possible.
that's their mistake. But then it still makes the point that it feels very rushed because they'd already thought, oh, this is an expansion's worth of content ending with Anima.
Yeah.
Let's rush in
That
literally
being said,
everything else afterwards.
we need to move on. But that being said,
Yeah.
still enjoyed Endwalker. What's
Oh,
done
yeah,
is
of
done.
course.
This was what we got, and I'm fine with it. I accept it. All right, so Oda says, the flow of the story itself didn't change too much. Oda explains that the devs seek to balance delivering on players' expectations and also having unexpected developments. Players were already expecting to fight Hydaelyn and Zodiark, so it was debated among the devs whether to deliver the fights straightforwardly or have a surprise development where one of them would take over the other and fight you. In the end, the team decided to go for the straightforward route, and the last boss would be something unexpected. Yoshida, at the residential, no one thought Hydaelyn or Zodiark should be the last boss. How do you feel about that? That none of them are
It's
the
a weird
final
take.
boss?
I mean,
don't know.
I think we've had
That's
this
what they were
discussion
going
before.
in this hypothetical Garlemald expansion. They never thought the Zodiac was
Yeah,
a final
right.
boss for some reason.
It is weird.
I mean,
I don't get the thought process.
No.
they said before that like they want to, do something unexpected, and Zodiac being the final boss would be the most boring thing ever.
It wouldn't
Absolutely.
be the most boring thing ever.
Well, see, the thing is, the idea was we were so afraid pre-expansion that Zodiac was just going to be, haha, Xenos jumping into Zodiac's empty body.
Yeah.
That almost happened.
I almost got worried.
It almost happened.
Yeah.
It was just the other side of that coin.
Yeah.
It still wasn't as cool as it being the actual Zodiac.
Yeah. I don't know. It's whatever. We've had a discussion about this before, I think.
Yeah.
All right. When was it decided that the final act would include going to space? Ishikawa says, when I was thinking about the story, one of the earliest key phrases I decided on was...
You skipped one. Oh, no, sorry.
No, I did not.
My
One of the key phrases I decided on was Alphinaud's line, when the Ragnarok sets off, go further than the moon, beyond the heavens. The details were decided on in 2020, but I was thinking of the main points in the final act in late 2019. Oda says, previously, there'd been elements like Omega and the dragons that linked to space, so we talked about that. We should make use of these. Ishikawa says, Oda-san is very into sci-fi, so I thought maybe we can put some nice details into a location like Ultima Thule. With Oda-san, I had the feeling we can safely make it to the edge of the universe.
Plains the elegans.
Ishikawa says, when she joined the team during A Realm Reborn's development, Heidelin's call, hear, feel, think, already existed. When she first looked at it, she thought it was interesting that it was like this, with think at the end, rather than see, hear, feel. When she wrote Endwalker, she decided to bring back this line, that players not only see and hear, but also think about what they've experienced up until now. I wonder, stuff like this makes me wonder what the original idea behind that phrase was. Like, whoever wrote that line, like, was it just like it sounded cool, or was it like Ishikawa?
Yeah,
I think it feels like, I mean, Heidelin's all about like be you, like think for yourself, act for yourself.
Yeah,
she's never like a super primal who just wants to like make people do things.
Who wrote Hear, Feel, Think? Like, was it Oda? It could have been Koji because it is included in Answers specifically, which is a lyric.
Yeah,
could have been
him.
Not Nomura, sorry, Uematsu.
Possibly.
Oh, no,
yeah, because it's in Answers, and Answers. Oh, I don't know. Think the full version of Answers. No, I don't think the full version of Answers was made during 1.0. So I don't think... maybe. I don't know. No, I think... Hear, Feel, Think is literally in the first cutscene of the game.
Okay.
So, yeah. I never remember who was in charge of the MSQ for 1.0, but they are... deep into Square Enix's, like they have a different job now within Square Enix, so it's impossible to find them.
Sorry, I love the next question.
Oda says, I joined the project during 1.0 and there was already some fundamentals of the world building.
You did skip something this time.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry. Certainly, there's a lot for players to think about. For example, is what Hermes did wrong, or was it the first step for humanity? Is what Meteon did wrong, or was it the people who gave Meteon her despair in the wrong?
What a take.
That's that weird take again. She said that in the previous interview we had as well. That case, was
Meteon's
it wrong?
In the clear.
In that case, was it wrong to hold on to that despair? For these questions, we made it so players can give their own answers. And Ishikawa is kind of like on the side of like, it was the people's fault for being sad.
It was everyone else's fault that Meteon was upset. So
That's a weird take.
Interesting interpretation of the story.
That's a very strange take.
She thought someone might have, but I don't think many do.
No.
I agree with like the concept of if you give a computer instructions, you shouldn't be upset that it follows them.
Yeah,
but she was a creature.
Yeah, but the question he sent her out with was flawed, and that was the problem. But
it's still like, surely she could have used her own imagination and thought process. So she's to blame somewhat.
Yeah,
we don't know how sentient Meteon is.
No,
that's true. I
still think you have to partially blame her though. For I don't think she's free of blame.
No, I don't. No, I see her more as like a construct. I don't necessarily think that
she has autonomy.
She wasn't trained properly,
but she has autonomy.
There's certainly a percentage of blame on her, but I don't think
it's only 1%.
High as...
She's not.
I don't know.
Because she can act for herself and think for herself.
One thing I can say is that I don't blame the people for being sad.
That's fine.
That's true.
It's just,
Yeah.
you know whose fault it is? It's Hermes' fault for not going to fucking therapy.
Right.
They didn't have
Just
therapy
saw-
back then,
It is
Rollo.
Hermes'.
You didn't know
They
that?
might have.
I strongly suspect they didn't, because everyone we
They probably
encounter in
didn't.
Elpis is like, this is just how things are.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah. Okay, we need to go.
Yeah.
Okay. I joined the project during 1.0, and there was already some fundamentals of the world building, such as the Asians and Hydaelyn. In truth, we didn't know what to do with this lore. I was glad we were able to make them something players can understand.
Oh, that's good.
Heard about the
I'm
mess.
glad you didn't leave it as something we couldn't understand.
Yeah, the mess of the lore department or the MSQ department in 1.0 is legendary. No one talked to each other. It was just complete mess. Yoshida says, even back during A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, and Stormblood, it was said, we don't have detailed lore yet for what the Asians' goals are, so let's just have them be doing bad stuff in the background.
Nice.
God.
It's so
Does
funny.
it show sometimes?
Yeah.
Heaven's word.
Yeah.
God, does it show?
Oh boy. Ishikawa says it's easy to think we planned it out in advance, but in truth that's wrong. The original ASEAN lore, we had only went as far as looks like they're doing bad stuff.
Those Damasians doing bad stuff again.
I love that.
You know what it was? They just played the "Bad Things Are Happening" song.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all they did when they were writing. It's like "Bad Things Are Happening" song goes here.
Oda, of course, we made use of some lore when we came up with earlier too. Ishikawa says Charlian going to space is an example of that.
That's interesting, and we're about to get into
Interviewer says that was already a part of the lore. Oda says in 1.0, Charlian was established as like a field guide to the world. So even back then, there was the lore that they gathered knowledge of the world in order to travel to other stars. That is interesting. Ishikawa, back in 1.0, it was said about the Asians, they are paranormal entities that are planning something. They have no shadows. Which, they only went for one of those two for A Realm Reborn. But back then, other characters' shadows also didn't display. So the Asian special feature was done away with. And so after that, they were rebuilt into a group of bad guys.
Amazing.
They don't talk about the fact that the Charlians had it going to space
Well-
was a part of the lore for a long time.
It's interesting that they said that it was a field guide to the world. That it just confirms that Charlian was supposed to be like a hub where, like, I mean, it was, but was that gonna be the Juno? I thought Ishkar would have made sense because it looks like Juno, but yeah, interesting.
I mean, Ishgard's super isolated, even like
That's
what
true.
we saw of it in 1.0.
Yeah, true. Okay. The interviewer says, the way the Scions have been depicted has changed a lot, too. Ishikawa says that one idea behind the trust system introduced in Shadowbringers is that you can keep going on adventures with the Scions after the story is over. Yoshida says that back during the development of Heavensward, Oda and A Realm Reborn Heavensward lead writer My Hero told him that they strongly want to recreate the feeling of classic Final Fantasies of going on a journey with party members. So they wrote the story of the Warrior of Light, Alphinaud, Estinian, and Ysael journey as a group of 4. This idea was developed further in Shadowbringers. Okay, makes sense. About Graha, Ishikawa says that at the end of Crystal Tower, when the Warrior of Light and Graha part ways, it's implied they'll meet again. But at that point, it hadn't been decided at all when or how this would happen. That makes sense.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah.
Not surprising.
They bend all lore they can to fit the new story and just leave breadcrumbs to latch onto constantly.
Well, Graha was kind of not a like that's just a character
No,
that
but he
they
could
just
have
put
been
into
picked up for any
hibernation.
purpose.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
That's good.
They didn't need the Crystal Tower to travel to the first, but it was just convenient, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense considering, it was an ether.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ether in there. Yeah, they could be worked. I prefer it when they use things that already exist in the game than just a pop up, which is
I hate a pop up.
Yeah. What sort of discussions did you have with the design team for the zones? Oda says Thavnir is inspired by India and the Middle East. Garlemald is inspired by the Roman Empire and Russia. We shared real-world cultures and so on with the designers. The Roman Empire, I guess, with like the Senate.
Yes, it very
and all-
much is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Well,
lot of
so
Roman
there's-
Empire stuff in there.
Sorry, I
It's
was
more
just
Roman than
thinking
anything
about
else.
what we got. Like, it's
All of
hard to
their,
imagine
like,
the Roman Empire in snow. Is all. That's just.
All of their like naming conventions.
Yeah. That's
like
true.
Latin.
That's true. Yeah.
The Russian part, I don't know about that one, but I guess
Climate.
the cold
I mean,
cold.
aesthetically,
Climate, yeah.
They have the little Ushanka hats or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
like that we shared real world cultures with the designers, like they're hermits they keep locked up. Like, this is India.
Yeah.
Wow. Your designs would be based on this soon.
By the way, at the end of Endwalker, Emmett hints at some new locations. Yoshida says, "This isn't the end of the story. So we wanted to create the feeling that the adventure continues as our next goal to work towards." Ishikawa says, "From the planning stage, this was one of the lines I wanted to put in." Oda says, "There are other continents we haven't visited yet. This time, we had to create a map for the entire world since you can see the planet from the moon."
well, I like that they acknowledge this.
Yeah. The interview
That's
says,
a good point.
"You can see Mericidia, for example." Oda says, "That's right. This might be one finale, but I thought we had to leave the impression that the entire adventure isn't over," while looking at Yoshida. "I hear there's a guy who's thinking about the next 10 years. And then he laughs. Yoshida says, "There's also the shards. If you call it a multiverse, we can do anything."
Yes.
Laughs.
Or a metaverse.
There's been opinions that we've been to space and fought despair. What could we possibly fight next? But in the Final Fantasy series, there's also been fights against nothingness, so there's many possibilities. That said, it's wrong to think that
Amazing.
because we fought despair this time, the next threat will be even bigger, that the scale of the story will keep increasing relentlessly. In the final scene, Xenos returned to us as an adventurer. I think maybe it'd be good to go on an adventure again. Translator's note: the term he uses here is particularly associated with Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy V.
Yeah. It's wrong to think that the next one's going to be bigger and better because it could be nothing.
Yeah.
It could be nothingness that we fight this thing, so just watch out.
What
There's
is,
going to be a tough boss to battle.
what is your
As it's spawned.
what is your favorite scene in Endwalker? Oda says, "The scene where you walk across the lifeless town in Ultima Thule." Ishikawa says, "Mine is at the scene with Meteon on the flower field in Ultima Thule."
Oh, God.
Yoshida says, "I
What?
requested..."
Why does she love Meteon so much?
Because she made
Because Meteon is her creation. Why would she not like Meteon?
Wow.
Yoshida says-
She did the whole expansion story. She could pick anything.
Yeah. Yoshida says, I can't help. No matter how many times I watch my tear glands. When I was put in charge of Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, Urianger was the first original character we created. So I'm glad we could bring him this far. He's turned into an eccentric, competent astrologian. I think he's a good combo with Thancred," he says and laughs.
Yeah.
Look forward to what he'll get up to from here on out too.
I
Yoshida.
think you skipped this part.
Oh, sorry. I requested to Ishikawa-san, when Urianger returns home, please settle his feelings regarding Moonbrida. Oh, so yeah, there did feel like a part was missing. I think that was depicted in a truly beautiful way. I cried so many times while checking that scene. Ishikawa says, Yoshida-san is weak to that scene and the scene where Julius holds out his cup.
Euless.
Sorry. Yoshida says, another scene that left a strong impression is Tataru's welcome back with open arms after Ragnarok returns to Aetheris. Shadowbringers was a story from good night to good morning, and Endwalker is a story from see you later to welcome back.
I
like
agree
that.
with Yoshida most. That was my favorite scene.
Yeah. Hermes and Meteon are characters that have had different responses among players. Ishikawa says, when I was writing Hermes, I thought he'd be a character 80% of people would hate, 20% of people would love. But even for the people who love him, you recognize his complexities and emptiness. But personally, I really, really love him. He himself made a huge mistake, but that mistake made him the foundation for everything that came after. Interviewer, without Hermes, this story itself couldn't have happened. Ishikawa says, without him, the world might have become like what we saw in the third area of the Dead End's dungeon. Interviewer, where Rala appears, right? Ishikawa says, right. Rala's world. laughs. Hermes' mistake is like the first wound the people of Aetheris bear. Whether people think this was a mistake or part of becoming stronger will differ.
Fine.
True.
Yeah.
I love Hermes.
The
I think
ancients
he's...
were on. You go first, Roland.
Gorilla.
I was just saying I love Hermes. I think he's a really good, complex character.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. What did you focus on while making the Elpis zone? Ishikawa says, we kept in mind the concept of paradise. Oda says, well, we made an area like the Sea of Clouds before. We wanted Elpis to look more man-made. It's similar to Amarot, but while Amarot felt lonely, Elpis feels warm. Yoshida says, we decided that Elpis would be the most beautiful area in this game. A world that is extremely beautiful, abundant, and on the surface overflowing with happiness. But once you step in, we wanted it to feel dangerous, so we checked it over many times. Is it the most beautiful zone?
Most beautiful zone.
What is the first one?
That last section in the Dead Ends.
Yeah, which we can never actually experience.
No, we'll never be able to explore it because when you go in exploration mode, it's dead.
Yeah,
but that's I think that. And,
I agree. It's an interesting color palette.
Pagelthan, when you go to the golden fields, that was beautiful.
Yeah, I was thinking that's the closest you'll get to exploring it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those two zones were nicer than Elpis, but I don't know. They don't seem to do vibrancy in the open world as much.
No, because we have this mud filter on our game. It's very hard to get it proper. Yeah,
I'd like them to explore that because they can do it clearly.
When we get the graphical update,
it's quite vibrant as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
Yeah, when we get the graphical update, maybe the mud filter will change a little.
That would be lovely.
Yeah.
God, get the gray out of there, please.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll go up because they'll go for an even more realistic, gritty feeling.
No, shut up.
It'll be like PS3 game.
Yeah. Back in Shadowbringers, we were afraid of the Ancients, but in Endwalker, with the presence of those two we're familiar with, i.e. Emmet and Hythlodaeus, they feel friendlier. Yoshida says, when Hermes says he will make judgment on humanity, in a way, it's very impartial. Making judgment, this is something Emmet Selk did so many times, and each time killed so many people. Emmet Selk wanted to get back his sundered friends and the people he loved, and with forthright emotions, he handed down his final judgment. Looking at it that way, Hermes made judgment in an objective way, so it's a bit surprising that we can forgive Emmet Selk's judgment, but can't forgive Hermes's. I think
it's just because Hermes is such a rushed, short-spaced character.
Again, if we had a full expansion to fully explore his character,
get into Hermes' lore, yeah, I understand Daniel and all that, fine, but Hermes, in his ancient self, I feel like he's not explored enough.
We're not going to go back to this discussion, but I know we talked about just Garlemald as an expansion. This is also why I would want it to be 2 parts, so we could explore this part of the story a bit more as well to really get into Hermes as a character.
Yeah,
because that part is so important because he's essentially a brand new character that we now have to learn.
I think it would have been nice if we had 2 zones actually in the Unsundered world.
Yeah.
I also am not surprised that people don't think Hermes is sympathetic because, of course, people aren't going to be as sympathetic if he is presenting his view of a objective judgment, whereas Emmet Selk's is much more emotional.
Yeah,
surprisingly.
Yeah.
People are always going to empathize more with an emotional judgment than a objective one.
True.
Yeah, Emmet just does what he wants his friends back, and he does what he thinks is right.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't agree with the objective judgment.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Hermes is just very mechanical.
Okay, let's wrap up this interview now. Ishikawa says, Hermes is impartial, but our hearts can't get close to him in the way we can with Emmet Selk. Maybe he's hard to sympathize with. Yoshida says, right, with Emmet Selk, it was easy to put your feelings into his own. Ishikawa, wanting to get your friends back is a very straightforward human emotion. Yoshida says, Hermes is a character that is a bit like social media. Although it would have been best to decide the answer on his own, he can't reach a decision himself and ends up listening to many different opinions. Then in the final messages at the end of the interview, Ishikawa says, from now on, there will be a new storyline, but there are plans to release a supplemental story for Endwalker.
That's nice. So Meteon really is Twitter.
Yeah, she's a Twitter bird.
Yeah.
But also, you know what? The fact that Meteon came to such a horrible conclusion. Remember when Microsoft made that bot that was designed to learn from Twitter, and it just became a horrible AI.
I missed that. I missed that AI.
Is it not surprising that Meteon became what she did?
Right, that's true. That's true.
No, it's not. But I don't know. Still, Meteon was a living creation.
I think her programming overwhelms her emotion, like her personality, though.
Maybe.
Because
I
why
don't
would
know.
Hermes not design her that way? If he cannot control her, if she is able to like act independently from him entirely, why would he want that? It does not serve his purposes.
Right.
That's true, but that could have been explored more as well. But it was.
I agree.
It was
Yeah.
too short.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's the show, everyone. We have to speed through a post show, so thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIreland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, !Discord in chat. If you're watching on demand, link is in the description. Remember to send us MogMail, SpeakersXIV.com/MogMail. Please send us MogMail, SpeakersXIV.com/MogMail. Stay tuned if you're watching live. For the post show, we'll be answering questions from the syndicate. See you there. If not, we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.